in a little like so I almost like try to make it short, which is almost like also not what we want. So I'm like, you know what? I need to add some more stuff. So I've been like today I've been really like I was talking to Alex. I'm like, honey, I watch anime and read manga all the time. What am I forgetting? I have like four things. What am I forgetting? And she was like, oh, well, what about this? What about that? I'm like, thank God you're here. So yeah, dude.
Alex is a really cool chick for you. She's pretty dope.
Oh, dude, I am the luckiest man in the world, brother. We fit like just it's a perfect match, bro. And we were like parenting wise too, dude. It's insane. So
You ready to get this kicked off? By the way, your
yeah,
whole
dude.
your whole Shrek orange thing is what's gonna kick off the podcast. Not cutting that.
Good, yeah, keep that, dude. I mean, dude. That's just that's how I like my podcast to be. So you know,
Guys, welcome to the Stone Gauntlet. We're back after a hiatus. Jordan had a baby.
thank you.
You know,
Big accomplishment.
so congratulations, man. Like one of the most fun things to do in life, and now you got a kid. Uh, but from the sounds of it, your kid sounds really cool, and I'm glad that we were able to take a short break so that way you can make sure that relationship is nurtured.
Yes, no, actually, it was perfect. I appreciate the paternal leave from the podcast. Um,
You only get
and
1 month. That's it.
yeah, yeah, we can't afford more than that.
Otherwise, we're
Uh,
docking your pay, Jordan.
yeah, fun fact and short fact. Her middle name is Jolene after the Part Six JoJo's main character. Um, and I fought pretty hard for that. So Alex was not receptive at first.
Who
So
chose Scarlet?
Alex essentially. Like we both liked it, but so Scarlett Jolene. So that was that. But I love both of them. I think both names are great, but I really wanted her first name to be Jolene so she could be like me, like J-O. My
Yeah.
name's Jordan. So yeah.
Like you just be like, "Hey, Jolene," you know.
Well, yeah.
Although Scarlet's a
So
really cool name. I'm not gonna lie.
it is, yeah. And dude, she's great. I mean, she's still just a little baby who just shits and smiles and eats. So, but she's doing great.
So, guys, this is the Stone Gauntlet. I'll be your host, Kenneth, Crook Irish Kirby over here, and we
Yeah.
are joined today by Jordan Rabbl.
Yep, that's me, Rabbl, and I've named my section. It's the Weeb Report. So
we
that will, that'll be that's my section's name from now on. It makes the most sense.
Can we just get you like a fucking news hat and
I,
a microphone to hold up?
I'm getting a logo made, so yes. So next podcast, I'll have merch.
Oh, we have our first joiner today, OniRam93, also one of my mods. So a quick shout out to OniRam93. That is ONIRAM93. Go follow him on Twitch. He's got an awesome Twitch channel. Welcome to the show. We're about to lambast you with some nerd knowledge. And Spider Dude may or may not be joining us today. But if not, I got at least a section of his section covered because I do want to talk about Ahsoka. I got some very choice words on that show, and we'll get to
Uh-oh.
when we get there.
Uh-oh. Okay.
um, Kicking off video game news. I think it's only fitting that we only talk about like the biggest thing that's happened this past month, and that's the fucking Microsoft leak. Uh, I know half of you guys are gonna say Starfield, but bear with me. Microsoft documents leaked online right in the middle of their court case to acquire Activision. Uh, Within these documents that are a couple years old, Phil Spencer has come out and said a lot has changed. There was a Series X revision that's supposed to be dropping next year. Uh,
Mm.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like, it doesn't seem like it does much of anything other than not have a disk drive, and it, and it looks like an Alexa, like a big ass fucking Alexa, uh, but like the black version of Alexa. So at least Microsoft's not racist, you know?
That's good.
Yeah, that's
Progress.
the progress.
2023.
They also had I'm pretty sure they didn't want this to get revealed, but Oblivion and Fallout 3 remasters got leaked.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, I just saw that in your dude. That's awesome. When is that coming out? Do you even
Well,
have any idea?
see, that was 2022. Yeah,
Oh,
the
oh,
documents are definitely a couple years behind. But as we all know with video game development, shit gets pushed back, and they probably weren't even ready to talk about it if it's still happening. Uh, I know personally, I'd love to revisit Fallout 3 with updated graphics, but I hope it's not some fucking bullshit like Rockstar released Red Dead Redemption without any fucking upgrades.
yeah. No, I mean, I honestly, I've been having a craving to play Fallout 3, but I told myself I'm gonna play the other game you're gonna talk about later instead, because I knew that was coming out. But no, I mean, if they did a remaster and it actually looks good, I would definitely pick it up.
Oh, I'd 100% buy it. I mean, if it's like, here's Fallout 3, but now you can get Series X achievements, I would probably be like, not much of a fucking difference there, you know?
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
there's a difference between making shit look better and then just making the graphics clearer.
yeah, dude, what? Man, Fallout 3 came out what when I was what? It's been almost like 14 years, I want to say. More?
Fallout 3, yeah, I mean, we've had like Fallout 4. I think we've even had Skyrim in that time drop,
Yeah, Scott. Yeah, definitely.
and that's two Bethesda games, so that's like 30 years right there.
Yeah, dude, 2008, dude, because I remember when Fallout 3 first came out, man, it was huge because it was like the first like I don't know, because it was like Oblivion but better. With guns. I think that's essentially what I said about it, and when I first got it, and it was funny because it was like, well, there's Fallout 3. Where the fuck is Fallout 2 and Fallout 1? And then I remember looking up Fallout 1 and being like, okay, that's why I've never heard of Fallout 1 or Fallout 2 because it's fucking old.
Because yeah, I think honestly Bethesda, like Fallout 3 was the first game that Bethesda did in the Fallout series. I would have to double check that, but I don't think they owned the rights to Fallout before Fallout 3.
Yeah, I don't think they do either. I think they no, well, I think they own them because because they've been making a lot of stuff. Who knows? Who knows? We don't have to go that deep into it.
Who made
But
Fallout 1? Look, these are the questions that our listeners are going to be asking. Um, Black Isle Studios.
yeah, and then I know that I think they gave it back to Black Isle for Fallout New Vegas. I want to say Fallout New Vegas.
See, Fallout 3 was Bethesda. Fallout New Vegas was Obsidian.
Oh yeah, that's right. And dude, have you ever heard about so dude, they had something in their contract with Obsidian that like if you get above a certain amount in like a certain rating that you'll get a bonus. And they literally got 1 point below what the bonus would have been. And everyone thinks that it was like on purpose.
Listen,
Uh,
guys, boycott Starfield. Don't even buy it. All right, that's garbage. Do as I say, not as I do. I mean, I've got like 200 to 300 hours in Starfield now, but you guys don't need to play that game, and we'll get.
dude, hasn't it been out for like 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
Look, let's not get into specifics, okay? All right, we don't have to worry about like how much time I put into Starfield. Listen, I got to review Starfield, okay? That's the reason why I put 300 to 400 hours in
Well,
Starfield.
you also probably had some of the days before it came out, so 2 or 3 extra days. That makes sense that you have so many hours. I totally understand.
Oh, that makes up for the extra 100.
Yeah.
By the way, Oni Ram is wondering how we're doing tonight. That's a good question. I'd say I'm doing all right. It's a Friday night, Holmes. How about you,
Yeah.
Jordan?
I'm good, man. Baby's asleep. I got to watch an episode of Castlevania Nocturne before this. Like, drinking some coffee. Life's good. Life is good.
I really want to talk about that. Like,
Oh, and we will.
I haven't seen it yet, but okay, we'll save that for your section. Um, the other two things that got released was Dishonored and Doom Year Zero.
Yeah, now I need you to clarify. What do you mean by Dishonored? Are they gonna remaster it, or are we talking about a new one?
Holmes, Dishonored 3.
Oh, dude, yes, it's been too long,
They need
bro.
to go fucking back to Dishonored. Listen, I don't know what they were thinking trying to make Redfall as this like fucking bullshit
Yeah.
looter shooter. Leave that to Destiny. Guys, you're not going to make it better than fucking the makers of Halo made it. Leave it to Destiny. Uh Dishonored needs to come back. I remember Dishonored. I loved it. In fact, when they were like, if you decide to kill everyone in town, your game is going to be harder. I was like, well, I guess this game is going to be a lot fucking harder um, for me because I would go through and slaughter everything between like the guards to the people. I remember one time I left like every body uh, dead on the street, and I thought I had killed everybody on the streets. This is Dishonored too. And I'm looking down at my handiwork of like everybody just dead. And I see this one fucking civilian come walking into the middle of it, and he looks around at like all the dead bodies, and you just hear, what? No,
Perfect AI.
I know.
That's exactly how I'd react to find a pile of dead bodies in the street if I was some medieval peasant, not medieval, but like revolutionary. What is it called? Steampunk peasant, I guess, because Dishonored's kind of steampunkish.
Oh, yeah, it's 100% like Nikolai Tesla, steampunkish.
Yeah, dude,
Like,
Dishonored's so good. Yeah, just it's such a slept-on game too, man. You talk to a lot of the new gamers of this generation, no fucking idea what Dishonored is. No idea. Like my sister, I'm like, yeah, you've ever played Dishonored? She's like, what the fuck is that? All I play is Overwatch 2. So I mean, but dude, yeah, I mean, you're right though, dude. I love that the choices you made mattered. Um, and also it provided you different ways to beat the game, but like actually different ways. Like, and it would be cool because they'd ask you in the beginning, do you accept the powers, right? And you can say, fuck off. No, I don't want any magic. And you only play with mechanical weapons. You only play with your sword, your bow, and like your like anything that's realistic, no magic. And I loved that. It made the game just so much more intricate. So
dude,
it was
everything
cool.
about that game kicked ass. Like, the fucking fact that you played as the princess in the second one alongside, like, her guard, and they
Yeah,
each, like, played differently. Like, it encouraged me. It did for me what very few games outside of, like, Resident Evil has done, and that's encouraged me to play it through again and again and again.
yeah. Well,
Be-
well, and what's cool? Oh, go ahead, man.
No, I was just saying to go for like that no that full stealth one where you just
Yeah.
only kill guards.
Well,
You
and
know.
dude, what's cool too is this was back when games they actually put like a lot of effort into them. You actually could pick to be Corvo or the princess. Um, like you could pick one or the other in two. So it was really cool because you could pick to be, the princess or you could be Corvo and it changed how people interacted with you. I think the canon pick though is to play as the princess. So,
I'm gonna figure out what her name is because I feel like if we just keep saying the princess, uh, Emily Caldwin,
Dude, you know
the
what's funny?
Empress.
I wanted to say Elizabeth because I was thinking like I feel like she looked like the BioShock character, didn't she?
No, she really kind of did. I mean, the whole thing had Bioshock vibes,
Yeah,
without like being Bioshock itself, but like the color
dude.
palette, uh, the powers, the stuff like that. A lot of it had that kind of Bioshock overtones.
Yeah, dude. I mean, dude, and also what another fucking oh my god, BioShock. We can talk about that another day, but holy fucking shit. I loved BioShock Infinite, dude. That's one of my favorite games of all time, easily. Like that was my first ever game that involved like multiverse and time travel that just like blew my little tiny minuscule brain. Like I could not even fathom it.
Yeah, I still like. I love that game. I still can't understand the ending. like, like even
Oh,
if because it is one of the first games to incorporate the multiverse. You know.
dude, there's a whole chart. I remember, dude, I could not put it down. Like I started playing it. It was on my buddy's Xbox too. At the time I didn't even own it, and I couldn't put it down. And because it literally Elizabeth controls time. You know what? I was about to say spoiler alert, but that game's been out since like fucking, that game's been out forever. But essentially, you know, you are the main bad guy. It's nuts how the time travel all worked. We'll have to talk about it sometime. We'll build it into the next podcast or something. Because
Honestly, yeah. Like I think we're gonna have to do like you remember how we talked about specials? Like we should do a special next month since it's Halloween.
yeah, dude. I mean, shit. We should also play Dead by Daylight or something like that. So that
Ooh,
would be cool.
for like the October.
Yeah, yeah. For October, that would be fun.
I'd be okay with that. I do like occasionally getting into Dead by Daylight, mainly around Halloween time. Not
Yeah,
much else past that, but
yeah. I'll probably buy Nicolas Cage and then we'll play together. So he's in it now. So
all right. I'll buy. I mean, it's got Nicolas Cage in it, so yeah, I'll buy that too.
yeah, and I
Um,
think he literally is himself. So it's great.
Doom Year Zero. I think everyone saw that coming. That still makes me excited for it. Doom Eternal was like. I think there's maybe two games that's ever forced me down to easy, and Doom Eternal was one of them. It might still be the only game, but I remember getting to the final boss and just getting completely fucking wrecked time and time again. And I was like, normal is too hard. I need, I need to put this game down one notch. And I dropped it down to easy and ended up beating it. Uh, so I'll still play Doom Year Zero, even though it gives me intense anxiety just to play the game.
Y- Um, you know what game I recommend to you if you want to have some Doom vibes? Have you ever heard of Ultra Kill?
No.
Dude, I'll send it over and maybe we can talk about it's a boomer shooter. But it's very much Doom bot like it's a fast paced shooter and it's just a lot of fun. Well, that's another thing I'll build in next month. I'll send it to you because it's a super fast paced, fun. The gameplay's just there. But yeah, dude, Doom and so what? They're gonna release a remaster of the original new Doom.
No, I think this is either a sequel to Doom 2 or it's a prequel to Doom 1, like Doom 2016.
Oh shit. Okay.
So, uh, a prequel. I mean, a prequel wouldn't really make sense because Hell invaded Earth in 2016. A sequel, though, I can definitely see. You know.
Okay. Yeah, or dude, what would be neat is if they go through and you play as like the more medieval, because you know how like they
Oh
were
yeah.
like knights too, like take it back a little bit. Dude, randomly, dude, this is so random off the wall, but dude, I watched the Doom movie, the original one that came out like in the 2000s. Have you ever seen it?
What with Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
With the Rock and Carl Urban.
Yeah.
Because it was on Netflix and it was leaving, and I was like, fuck it, let me, like, I was studying for something, and so I was watching it, and dude, that movie is ass, bro. But at the same time, like, I don't know, it just felt right. I was like, this movie just it still feels good, like.
See, I'm here with Oni Ram. That movie is bad. That-
Yeah,
Wasn't that Uwe Boll? Like, he's known for just fucking up movies. I remember, God, it was like Night of the Living Dead. No, not Night of the Living Dead. It was one of those. You know the House of the Dead. It was House of the
yeah,
Dead,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I was in the Navy. And my friend's like, "Oh, you gotta watch this film," and I'm like watching it, and I'm like, "Okay, it's not that bad." And then it gets to the part where like the house is burning down, and I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what everyone's talking about." And then it like zooms out and shows the house, and it's like Windows 97 graphics, and you just see like a pylon fall over on fire, and I'm like, "The fuck is this?" He's like not even trying. This is nowhere near CGI. This is like Windows Movie Maker, you know?
Yeah, Oni, I think Scorpion King was probably better. Um,
Which would be better, Scorpion King with The Rock or Doom? I'm gonna have to go with fucking Scorpion King. Like, I honestly, at least he was better in that. And I had no problems with the Brandon Fraser Mummy movies because they never took themselves seriously, like ever. And I knew that going in, it would be like a campy fucking film, but at the same time, I didn't have a lot of expectations for it.
yeah, well, and also the CGI at the time wasn't that bad. I don't think. Like, but of course you watch it now and you're like, wow, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's like that doesn't look like Thanos,
Yeah, but I think at the time it was decent CGI. But I know what you're talking about, Oni.
dude.
I can see it very vividly.
So the cap point of this whole thing, and I saved this part for like the last part of this section in my section.
Yeah,
But Microsoft wanted to, within the documents, acquire both Valve and Nintendo. And I'm
yeah,
like, Valve, you might have a shot at, but there is, and I'm not gonna say never, because I've seen weirder shit happen. I mean, PlayStation, Nintendo, and Microsoft are playing together nowadays. That used to not be the case, 5 to 10 years ago. But there is nowhere on the fucking planet that Microsoft could acquire Nintendo.
yeah. Agreed. Nintendo really like. I don't know, dude. Half the time, I don't even think Nintendo's in it for the money. Like, they make so many decisions that just don't make sense. Like, dude, they would make so much money if they did like virtual console, but they're just like, nope.
Yeah,
So it makes me think that like they just do not care about the money. But like, dude, they love their IPs more than anything.
and their like quirkiness pays off. Like Nintendo, in my opinion, has been around for 100 years. It used to be a trading card game, and it's probably gonna outlive the PlayStation and the Microsoft Xbox.
Yeah.
It's its own little sector. Microsoft's not gonna acquire Nintendo. Now, 10 years, I could be eating my own fucking words, and Microsoft could have acquired Nintendo. But I guess we'll see.
Dude, I don't know. I don't think them acquiring. I don't know. They could acquire Valve, but the problem is that Valve has ascended. Like, Valve is no longer just a game producer, it's literally a game distributor. So, I don't know if Microsoft. I guess Microsoft has the money to acquire them, but I just don't see Valve doing it.
I mean, yeah, because Valve has kind of become its own, like, Valve is basically like a Microsoft now. It made its own machine.
Yeah.
We're still waiting on Half-Life 3, and I assume that, in the year 2300 will get Half-Life 3.
Yeah, so it's funny, man. I don't think we ever will. You can actually go read the script for Half-Life 3. The creator, the story creator and director actually put the story out there. But they just I don't know, man. They just have no interest in making games anymore. It's weird. Um,
You
you
know,
know,
I,
it's
I
odd.
I feel at this point Half-Life 3 has reached that moment where it's like fucking Duke Nukem Forever, where it's like it's taken forever to come out. The expectations have reached such a unrealistic level that even
Yeah.
if Half-Life 3 released fairly good, it would get lambasted across the board.
Yeah, and that's why I think they don't do it because they just don't want to create a bad like, dude, look how long it took them to finally release CS:GO 2. CS:GO 2 finally came out on Wednesday, and it's been fucking, dude, it's been forever. Like like Global Offensive came out probably like 2012, 2011. Uh, and I mean Counter-Strike is old as dirt, so.
Wait a second. So Nintendo and Sony used to be the same company? We're getting from Oniram 3 that Nintendo and Sony need to make up and work together again. Um,
I think they used to be a lot more close, and then like they just now they don't want to mix on anything. Is that what you mean, Oni?
you know, honestly, God, it's like okay,
Ah,
that's a tough one because Nintendo Nintendo for me is like afternoon gaming fun and or like Sunday afternoon gaming fun. Whereas PlayStation is like I'll get really sucked in for like a couple hours to beat the game. Like The Last of Us is still one of my top games of all time. I love Spider-Man. Really looking forward to what they do with Spider-Man 2. Uh, but outside of that, Microsoft has the better connectivity. So I tend to like swing towards them. And I'm not a Microsoft fanboy by any means, guys. I'm not gonna like be like, yeah, Xbox is the best because I think that's fucking stupid and holding a lot of gamers back. Like
yeah,
this whole individual IP almost needs to come to an end, and just like give everybody the chance to play fucking God of War. Give everybody the chance to play Halo. Give everyone the chance to play Starfield. You know?
yeah. I think it's sadly one of those things that they make they make their money back on their game sales, and
Yeah.
so it's unfortunate, but I don't know. Nowadays, the nice thing is, man, is if you own a PC, like you don't need to have an Xbox. But at the
Or a
same time,
fucking
it's probably
Nintendo or a
yeah,
PlayStation, because you can just
yeah,
emulate it.
yeah. So it's kind of nice, but like I'll be honest, I like having a PlayStation 5 now. It's very nice. I'm very happy I finally picked one up.
I'm actually I love my PlayStation 5 because it gives me a chance to play Spider-Man 2 when it launches. And same with like Wolverine. And Sony's always been really good about single player IPs. Like they knock those out of the park, you know.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah.
I'm poor, still need to get one. Let's see. Moving on to acquisitions. I used to think this was a good thing, but Microsoft Activision has been approved by the CMA. That is the UK uh basically board that has gone, "Hey, you're okay now because they sold the streaming rights to Ubisoft for their Activision games, uh, which means they won't hold a monopoly in the cloud market." Here's the thing, though: when PlayStation went through to stop them from doing that, they focused on Call of Duty, and they thought, Call of Duty is going to be the reason why we could stop this whole deal. But all that did was make Microsoft go, Call of Duty is accessible to all platforms without saying anything about the rest of the games. So basically they just said, yeah, we'll give you Call of Duty. Sure.
Hmm.
As they're scribbling down Diablo is exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah,
This is exclusive to Xbox. Yeah. Yeah, you can have Call of Duty. Overwatch is exclusive to Xbox. It's like you
yeah,
went after the wrong fish,
yeah,
Sony. You should have gone after the whole fucking package.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Because I mean, I don't know. Like I'll be honest, everyone I know that just like slams Call of Duty all the time just owns that owns an Xbox anyways. So like I don't know.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It took me, I'm hard. I hate to say this. It took me till Modern Warfare 2 to go. They just release the same fucking game every fucking year.
Yeah,
It's like the same maps, the same whatever. Oh, hold on. This one now you can drive a robot. It's like, wow, big improvement. But at the end of the day, you're still walking around a map shooting other players.
yeah, dude. I mean, shit, dude. BattleBit fucking did more to innovate than they have with Call of Duty over the last 10 years. So, and
The
BattleBit looks like shit. So,
yeah,
and I'd rather play it. So,
and what's royally fucked up on my part is like I might have even said it on this podcast. I was like, I'm not buying another fucking Call of Duty until they release Modern Warfare 3 because I thought that was like 2 to 3 years out. Well, fucking Modern Warfare 3 is dropping this goddamn November, so now I have to fucking buy it. And that's it. I'm done. After that, I'm gonna wait till Modern Warfare 4, but fuck all the rest of them because I'm tired of buying the same goddamn product over and over and over again.
yeah. Yeah, man, but they're gonna keep doing it, bro. That's the thing is everyone's like, "Oh, this sucks," but like as long as all the lemmings purchase it every single year in troves, dude, it's they're gonna just keep fucking churning them out because
Yeah, and I'm just as bad because I went fuck Call of Duty. I now can finally play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 because it's actually fixed and not in a buggy state. Because Modern Warfare 3 is right around the corner and they're going to release that half-assed. And that's not going to get fixed until Black Ops fucking 500 gets released. And then they were like, "Oh, but don't worry, guys. Your operators carry over." And I'm like, "They released Tomb Raider?" And so then I went over and I dropped $25 to buy fucking Tomb Raider because God forbid I play Call of Duty without her. And then I was like, "Okay, that's it, but I do need a bad guy." And I'm like, "Oh, they released Lilith?" So I don't know. I could say I'm gonna stop buying it, but I'm gonna buy Lilith and I'm gonna buy fuck Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and then I'm gonna try to stop. It's an
yeah,
addiction.
dude, skins are one of the best, like, craziest things. Cause like, what's crazy, man, is there are so many fucking amazing indie games out there that are $20 that you could literally sink hundreds of hours into, and and then there's skins that are worth more money, and people are like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that skin, bro. Like, I'm gonna buy that, like, and it's nuts. But like, I'll be like, hey guys, you should play this indie game, and they'll just be like, $20, fuck that.
Wait,
I'm like, I don't. What were you gonna
Moira
say?
Moira's getting a Lilith skin for this new season. See, now I gotta play Overwatch.
Dude,
Like,
don't do it, don't
it's
do it, dude.
Moira's one of my mains.
Dude,
Look, dude,
don't do it,
she's
don't
fucking.
do
It's
it,
Lilith. I love Lilith, and I
don't
love
do
playing as
it.
Moira. But all of her skins
No,
look stupid as fuck. So now I gotta play Overwatch.
dude. I played Overwatch with my sister like a week ago, and dude, I feel like the only people that play Overwatch are people who are fucking good at Overwatch, and I just get dicked on the entire game. Like the only role I can play is support, dude. I'm so shit, and I'm good at shooters. I mean, but just there's something about Overwatch, dude. I'm just ass. I'm just utterly ass. So
Listen, guys, in my defense, okay, Yes, Lilith is the chick from Diablo, and she's got giant honkers. So I kind of need to buy this skin.
We know to the heart, to the average American man, big honkers equal automatic purchase.
uh, actually, I don't got TikTok. Do you know how to use TikTok, Jordan?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I do.
We should
Yeah.
start a TikTok account. Do you want to be in charge of that?
Oh God. We can talk about it. We can talk about it.
Listen, you could be like all those influencers that go around the world and be like, "Hey, selfie from Jordan."
It would just be me in my basement posting lifting content. The stone gauntlet would quickly turn into me lifting in my basement or manga, so I don't know if you want that.
That might draw people in. Listen, you gotta finish every clip with like, "Do you even lift, bro?"
Dude, I've actually been just like I created another Discord which is just it's called Weeb Dominance and it's just lifting and anime and manga. But the entry
Oh my
the
god.
entry is that you must like manga and anime. So we don't just take anybody in, but it's for people who like manga and anime and then also lift. So it's pretty funny. And I wear this rat mask occasionally. So and just post me lifting in this rat mask. So
See, that is TikTok content right there. You'll start a new trend.
yeah, the only problem is I'm not on steroids. So I think that's the entry for being a lifter on TikTok.
I'm sorry, Jordan. Listen, you're gonna have to start taking steroids, and then tell everybody that you're not taking steroids.
Yeah.
And then when your viewership starts to drop off, then be like, "I'm sorry, guys, I was taking steroids."
Oh, are you talking about the Liver King video? Have you
Yeah.
ever seen that? I didn't do the stuff. I never take this stuff. I've never done this stuff. I was doing this stuff.
I was doing the stuff, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a lie, I think is exactly what he says. So, yeah. Good
So,
times.
just real quick, I read an article that outlined this really well about the acquisitions. And they say it's dangerous for the gaming community because it isolates developers, right? Like,
Yeah.
and the way they like explained it was just made me fucking rock hard because it makes sense. He was just like, if you go into Microsoft and you're working at Microsoft and like let's say you work at fucking Bethesda, right? And which is an offshoot of Microsoft, and you're just like, yeah, yeah, I like this place, but then actually this place kind of sucked dick. Um, I guess I'll go work for like fucking 343 Studios. Well, guess what? Also part of Microsoft. Like it segments the market so that way if you leave one company, you can't just go into another because you've already left that job.
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically a monopoly, man. Like that's the problem is that all these games are just being made the same way. I mean, that's the problem with Valve, dude. It's like for example, everyone's like, "Man, why don't they like, dude, it's insane. They have all these games under them and they kind of like they have a favorite." And it's like it just makes me sad because they own all these games, they really like some of them get neglected. Like, dude, Dota is like their baby. They like take care of it. They love it. They release all this new content and then like CS:GO. It's like it's not even living in the house anymore underneath the family. It's like in the backyard in the woods. Like and it's funny cuz CS:GO has a fuck ton of players, but they're like we don't give a fuck about that shit. And so it's nuts, dude. And I feel like if it was its own developer, if CS:GO was a separate developer and it wasn't underneath the same umbrella, it would get attention by its developers. But they're like, "Yo, dude, we really need you working on Dota content. Sorry, buddy. We'll let you work on CS:GO later." So
Yeah, and it's just like it lets like okay, look, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a fantastic explanation of that exact concept. Red Dead 2 should have thought out train riot or robberies, and it should have bank heists online. It should have a fully fledged online uh, story as well as all the shit, as much as like GTA does. But Rockstar doesn't want to put money into Red Dead 2. It wants to pour all of its fucking money into GTA 5 and then sells the same horse shit for the same like 3 generations of
Well,
consoles.
have you heard about what they're thinking about charging for GTA 6?
What? What are they
Dude,
going to
they
what?
dude, the last rumors that came out is they're thinking about a model where GTA 6 will cost you $120.
God damn it. Gaming's about
Yeah,
to get too
dude.
expensive because if Rockstar pulls that bullshit, EA's going to be like, "Oh, we could charge $120."
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
Activision's going to be like, "Oh, we could charge $120 for Call of Duty plus $20 for all the skins."
yeah. Because I bet your ass, bro, me and you are both gonna buy it at 120.
Fuck no. Here, okay, so here's the thing.
This man says I'll buy $25 for Big Lilith honky honkers,
Listen,
but
that's different, okay? Moira needs honky honkers. And a Lilith running around Overwatch would be great. Alright, here's my thoughts on what I did with Call of Duty 3. Uh, the other day, a 500 gigabyte to 1 terabyte download. Yes, I can definitely see that fucking bullshit. God, I'm so pissed at Rockstar because all they have done is re-release the same game without putting any fucking improvements into it and charges full price for them. GTA
yeah,
1 through 3, Red Dead Redemption, they haven't done shit for Red Dead Redemption 2. All they've done was added some fucking flowers to GTA 5 and call it a new goddamn game. I'm pretty livid at Rockstar. Okay.
yeah,
I'm gonna dial that back. I need some calming
yeah,
music.
yeah. And we can move forward.
Still in the gaming section? Wow. Hi, guys.
Hey,
Oh, yo, what's up,
Spider Dude,
man?
welcome. Um,
I take it I didn't miss much.
Nah,
yeah.
nah, dude.
What? Okay. I did have a point throughout all that. Okay, so my thought with Call of Duty 3, right, is this. I realized the other day I was gonna spend like $70 for the non-Vault edition. I'm like, I'm not buying the fucking Vault edition. If I buy Lilith and Tomb Raider, guess who I'm gonna be fucking playing as? Lara Croft and Lilith and nobody else. So why would I want the fucking Vault edition so I can get Captain Price 2.5? You know? Um, and then it kind of like it just hit me. I'm like, why am I even buying the fucking Vault edition? Or why am I buying the edition at all? What I'm gonna do is I'm just going to wait for it to go on sale on Black Friday because these games drop in price like a month later, and then I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah,
I currently have uh one game pre-ordered, just one for the upcoming year. I did buy Phantom Liberty, and I didn't really buy Starfield. I actually got both editions for free. Um, but the only game that I'm paying money for from here until the end of the year is Spider-Man 2.
Same.
Fuck everything else, because once Spider-Man 2 drops, I'll either continue playing Starfield and Diablo, or I'll turn my attention to Diablo and Spider-Man 2. Because Spider-Man 2 looks fucking legit. And, alright. Moving on, the big game review, guys, we're going to be talking about. Drumroll, please, Starfield. Your big question right out the gate, is it good? Yes. It does have some drawbacks though. So I'm gonna start with the cons, and then I'm gonna go into the pros of what makes Starfield great. The cons, it's extremely slow leveling. Uh, as I'm making my way through the game, I used to get like 2 levels an hour, and that's starting out. Now I get like 1 level maybe a day, and I'm at like level 90. I had to grind up to 90, building like these fucking adaptive frames so I can get to 90. A lot of its perks are shit that you would have had in starting games. Like in Elden Ring, or not Elden Ring, but in Elder Scrolls, you would have the ability to like pick any lock right away. And this one, even if you try and master one, you can still fuck it up, but you could try it. And this one, you have to unlock that skill within the pick locking skill tree.
Yeah.
Pickpocketing is not given to you right away. I feel like a lot of Starfield, the best parts of behind it are hidden behind the fucking perks that take hours upon hours to unlock. So, if you want to start off Starfield at a decent like starting point, fuck achievements, give yourself a mod, and bump yourself up to level 50. At that point, you'll be fully ready to really actually start experiencing the game. The companions constantly want to give me dumb shit. Like, I'll be walking around and they'll be like, I got something for you, Cap. And I'm like, well, that's great. And they'll give me like $300. And I'm like, well, that's cool. I'll add that to my stash of 500,000 over here. But, you know, it makes a big splash. Then 10 seconds later, it'll be like, I got something for you, Cap. And I'm like, stop. I don't care. It's like, okay, I got your $300. And 10 seconds later, I got something for you, Cap. And I'll ignore him. And every time I fast travel somewhere, I got something for you, Cap. And I'm like, fucking, I don't care. I don't want your dumb shit. I don't want your money. I don't want your stupid plant. I just want you to shoot people and not stand in the way of the door. Which is my biggest complaint against the robot companion, because when I managed to piss off everybody on my crew when I became a pirate, because for some reason they don't like me blowing up random ships and killing people wantonly, I was stuck with the fucking robot because he was the only one that didn't give a shit about that. And yet, all he did was stand behind me and block my retreat. so I'd be like, all right, Vasco, get him. And I'd turn around and he's standing in the doorway while I'm getting shot by like 30 guys. And I'm like, thanks, Vasco. I'm dead again. You know? The other thing is, they do say some really dumb shit. Like, just today I was rolling with Sarah. I'm trying to be good because I want to bang Sarah and Andrea and all them, and I don't want to piss them off with my pirating ways. So I'm trying to be good. I'm taking Sarah along, and I'm going to a pirate base to kill all the fucking pirates in that fucking base. And Sarah's like, I wonder who runs this facility. And then she's like, the people that run this facility could be angry that we're trespassing. And I'm like, Sarah, it's fucking pirates. We took a bounty that said kill the fucking pirates. We have been killing pirates for the past 5 minutes. The only people here are pirates. There's no question about who runs this fucking facility or whether or not we're trespassing because they're all fucking pirates. Like, this isn't.
Do you feel like that's a product of how much, like how vast it is, like how vast the game is?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like, they clearly didn't cover every corner because we went to this ship to like recover an artifact, and the whole like point of the game is collect these artifacts so you can get these powers. And when you become over encumbered for some reason, your companions like to fat shame you by being like, you know, you can give some of that to me, or you don't have to drop all that shit around, or you don't have to carry that everywhere. Well, I was over encumbered and I picked up the artifact, and Sarah, in her infinite fucking wisdom, was like, you don't have to lug all that shit everywhere. And I'm like, Sarah, this is the artifact. This is the one thing we came to this fucking space station to get. I'm not just gonna leave it here because I'm over encumbered. So yeah. I guess the companion AI doesn't necessarily always think out the situation, which is I can work around that. The game encourages you to use violence and then berates you for using violence. Like, what I mean by that is if you're doing these quests and you're trying to be the good guy and you're trying to be nice, you're going to get like 2 or 3 XP. Uh, by the end of the quest, you'll get like maybe 100. If for some reason you decide to go in and just shoot up the place and incur whatever bounty or not you're going to get, guess what? You get like 1,000 XP. You're like gaining levels like it's fucking nuts if you just kill everyone. But then if you do that, your companions are like, I can't believe you just went in there and killed all the pirates. And it's like, damned if you
Yeah.
do, damned if you don't. But give me a fucking companion that doesn't give a shit that I fucking am a pirate. Which, by the way, pirates are dicks. I did the pirate storyline, and by the end of it, you have a choice to either join SysDef, which kidnapped you essentially for stealing a fucking football. Like literally anything you do, if if you do something wrong in the beginning game, SysDef kidnaps you and is like, we want you to infiltrate this pirate league. Now that wrong thing has a very large scale, so you could either kill a guard or slaughter a town, and they can kidnap you and rightfully be like, you know what, you belong in the infiltration squad of the Crimson Fleet. We need you to go in there and find the pirates. That's the only way to clear your name. Makes sense. On the flip side of that, you could steal a fucking football, and they'd be like, your thievery has made you the most wanted criminal in the universe. We're gonna send you into a fucking space station filled with bloodthirsty pirates and murderers. And it's like, you didn't really think this through, you know? But
Yeah, that's interesting.
so I joined SysDef. SysDef are dicks, and they're like, you need to go in there and infiltrate the pirates. And I go to the pirates, and the pirates are dicks because they keep calling me Rook and like just being a general group of assholes. So at some point, I'm like, okay, what's the benefit for joining either? Because at the end, you gotta betray one or the other. And I hated SysDef, and I also hated the pirates. But I wanted the pirates negotiation stuff. So what I did was I ended up killing SysDef. I betrayed them and sided with the pirates. Then I immediately left the pirate ship and went and attacked pirates. So I got a pirate bounty. And then went back to the pirate base and went, what now, fuckers? And ended up shooting up the pirate base. And I found out something very important, guys. If you kill all the non-essentials in the pirate base and just drop the essentials to their knees, and then wait until like the combat music goes away and your hidden bar goes back to normal, they all get back up and are willing to trade with you.
That's some bugs right there.
Yeah, so now the way I see it is before I reset the universe, I had a $4 million bounty with the pirates because I refused to pay their fucking bounty because that goes against the whole point of being a goddamn pirate. And whenever I entered their base to trade with them, because it's the best trading spot in the game, I would have to put down a bunch of mutineers that challenged my leadership as a pirate queen and then put down the essentials because they're fucking dicks too. Then I get to finally trade with everybody.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a loophole. It's funny you figured that out too.
I was just pissed at everyone. I was going to kill everybody involved by the end of that quest line. The other thing, you can't place doors or ladders in shipbuilding, and shipbuilding's the type of thing that we'll get to it. And then there are bugs. There are bugs because it's a Bethesda game and it just launched. But there are bugs where it's like when you're trying to fly in third person, you get super close to your ship and you can't see anything around you unless you go to like build your ship, change one thing, and then it puts it back to normal. But at the same time, when you do that, it takes everything that was in your ship, all the clutter, like the trash and stuff that the fucking companions leave lying around, and puts it into your cargo hold, forcing you to sell all that shit. Also, it's a really annoying bug. So you either got to learn to fly in first person, or be ready to sell your shit every single like time you log into the game. Uh, the pros of Starfield. I know I just spent a lot of time ripping it apart. It's good. Space exploration at its best. Once you reach that 30 to 40 to 50 hour mark, Starfield actually takes off. It goes from being like this, okay, I put a lot of time into this game. I hope at some point this gets good. And once your perks kick in, like once you get that figured out, it starts becoming awesome. Space exploration is fantastic. The shipbuilding in Starfield is fucking amazing. It's the type of thing that you go, I'm gonna go paint a portion of my ship. This should take like 15 minutes, and then 4 hours later, you're still tweaking it because you're just that lost in it, and you want it to be like the best ship. Um, the perks are great. They actually increase your shit exponentially, so you see true growth in your character whenever you get a level. Um, some of the best writing Bethesda has ever done. I I remember one time. Keep in mind, by this point, I'd spent about 12 hours on my ship. Um, I did this quest where I was helping one of the Constellation crew and secure this artifact, and I go walking out, and this corporate guy comes in, and he's just like, "Yeah, well, you think you're walking out of this town with that artifact? We impounded your ship." And in real life, I saw blood red. I was just like, "You did what?" And I fucking shot him on the spot. And then we went up to his office, and we went up and talked to the fucking secretary, and the options were like, I need to see your boss, I need to see this, and then you took my ship, you're all gonna die. Attack. I chose that and just started John Wicking my way across the office by murking everything I came across. Cleaning robots, staff, guards, it didn't matter. They took my ship, they were gonna die between me and it. When I got to the final like guy, you could when you get to the main like guy of that whole office building, you could try to talk to him, and diplomacy your way out, or you could just attack him again and blow his fucking brains out, which is exactly what I did, and I got my ship back, and let everybody know in the rest of the game what happens when you take my ship. But I like the fact that Bethesda gave me that option because I was pissed in real life, and I got to reflect that in the game. The companions are fun. Outside of their annoyingly wanting to give you everything on the fucking planet, um, or blocking your doorway, they are kind of fun. Like their quests are well written. Uh, it's funny to see Sarah. Like half the game for me was being a pirate or just doing something like really dickheadish, and then reading up at the top of the screen, Sarah disliked that. Sarah wants to talk to you, and then I'd have to go down to Sarah and gaslight her and make her believe that whatever I just did, whether it be murder an entire group of people or mass market a manipulation device uh, to everybody in the galaxy, was a good idea for the galaxy, and you, and you get the option to persuade her for it. And they're hard persuasions, but if you're past, it's like Sarah no longer hates you.
That's awesome.
Sarah fucking hated me by the end of the game. There was one mission where where uh they were like, you need to take Sarah with you because we want her eyes and ears on this mission. I'm just like, oh, she's gonna love this. And about 5 minutes into the mission, it was like, Sarah just like that. Sarah just like that. Sarah just like that. And like I tried talking to her, and she's like, "What? Yeah, I guess I'll carry your fucking gear." And then at like just one point in the mission, it was just like, "Sarah no longer hates you," and I'm like, "Progress." I have a chance to be friends with her. We didn't. She died. Oh, spoiler alert! She dies, or one of the Constellation crew dies. But at her googly, I got to be like, Sarah and I were the best of friends. She loved me on all accounts. And nobody could dispute it because the one person that could was dead.
No, I'm definitely looking forward to getting my hands on it, man. It seems like you're just really able to like world build like yourself. It's almost like a kid playing with toys, right? Like how kids can just like make shit up because they have the toys. It seems like Starfield allows you to do that.
Oh yeah, Starfield, like my dad put it best. He got really into Starfield. He's really into Starfield. Like he's gone into the modding community, and I wouldn't be surprised if given a couple months he starts making mods himself. You know. Um
Didn't you do that with Daisy?
Yeah,
for a
and
bit
he
there.
loved that portion of DayZ. But the thing with like DayZ was that everybody left, but nobody could leave him in Starfield because they're all stuck there in the same game as him. So he could just make his own mods and then be like, "Yeah, Sarah's got bigger tits now." You know. I
Those
remember
are all.
the what?
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say those are always the first mods to come out, and they're always like literally same day as release. It's like nude mods for all characters. Um,
No, I
typical
know.
typical Bethesda game.
I'm listen. I'm not gonna say I am or am not gonna download that mod. I'll save that between me and my Steam Deck when I finally get to it. Dad loved Starfield. He still does. He married Sarah, and then I remember the day he married Sarah, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna marry Sarah," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And he starts leaving the room. He's like, "Don't tell mom," and I'm like, "All right, I won't tell mom that you're married a fictional game character." You know?
Oh wait, so it's Starfield's enough complex that it has, if depending on what decisions you make, it ends up choosing that path,
Yeah,
like marrying Sarah. That's awesome.
you
I
can
started
marry.
it a little bit, so
Oh, you're playing it?
I played the first, like I got to where I'm on the ship, but then ran into like busyness. So
It's definitely a game you gotta pour yourself into, but it's also a game that gets really rewarding. Like once you
yeah,
start unlocking weapon mods or spacesuit mods or starship design, then it starts to becoming like, oh, there's a lot of freedom to do what you want in this, you
yeah. The
know?
only issue with me playing it now, it's just when Spider-Man comes out, nothing's going to be being played.
Yeah, I
So,
know. That's like no spoilers to me because I don't know if I'm gonna play it right away. Um,
oh, you're good. I probably won't spoil anything. So
I
I
looked at
never do.
I looked at the trophy list and everyone's like, there's a massive story or spoilers in this trophy list. And I guess if you're a major fucking Spider-Man nerd, there might be, but I've only discovered what one of the villains was from the trophy list, and even that is like he's a B-list villain. I mean, he's an A-list, but he's not like Doc Ock or Green Goblin or Carnage.
Yeah,
Which I don't know. Like I hope Green Goblin and Carnage show up in that game, but Carnage might
hopefully.
be like revealed to be the villain of the third one. You know?
Yeah, the only like spoilers I've looked at are the suits. So
See, I bought the premium edition because I want
yeah,
the extra 5 suits for everybody.
the Arachnite suits included.
And the last thing I'm gonna say is the bugs of Starfield are also great. Like as much as they're irritating, they're also incredibly fucking funny. Uh, some of them. One of them is like if you're rolling through enough asteroid fields, eventually you accidentally just pick up a fucking pet rock that follows you around everywhere. And I saw this like Reddit post and it was like, so I picked up this rock from a bug in an asteroid field and it's been with me for about 50 hours and it just randomly attended my wedding. And it shows like this rock just sitting outside his like fucking like spaceship, and I'm just like, you know what? Those are the kind of bugs that Bethesda games are like known for. Are the
Yeah.
hilarious ones when they occur.
Yeah, well, I heard that they brought back the annoying follower from Oblivion. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, the Adoring fan. Yeah,
Yeah, the adoring fan.
I almost wish I had picked him because the Adoring fan, for all you people out there that are just starting Starfield, is one of the companions who doesn't give a fuck what you do. You could be the biggest dickhead in the planet, and the Adoring fan would be like, "Wow, this guy's so cool."
Well, I always remembered it being a big joke in Oblivion. I would like go down to the deepest dungeon and just kill him, and then he would always show back up. No matter what you did, no matter where you killed him, he would always show back up. So I'd always make a joke because like we'd be going down and doing a whole dungeon together. At the end of it, I would kill him, literally thousands of feet below the earth. And then like 3 hours later, he would just show right back up, and he'd be like, "What's up, man?" Like, it was always just so good.
You know that might be the case in this. Like, I know you can drop your companions to their knees by accident. I don't wantonly like fucking unload on my companions. But I wonder if you can kill the Adoran fan and just drop him out of commission for a couple hours.
Yeah, launch him in the fucking space or something. Um, yeah, no, I thought it was cool though that they did that homage.
Oh, and one last thing about Starfield. This is the first main quest I've actually completed and enjoyed. Like Fallout 4's main quest was good, but towards the end it kind of got into this whole like, are they synth or aren't they good? Or your son's actually older than you, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? Um, Starfield, I understood, and the way it unravels its mystery as you go through the main quest is compelling. Uh, to a point where there are many twists and turns beyond the one I accidentally ruined. But how you get to that point and what happens after, it's still like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? You know?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm glad that you like it because you're super critical of the games you play. So I was hoping you'd be like, yeah, this is good. So
I'd say Starfield's good after like 30 to 40 hours into it. Or you just really, really gotta love Bethesda games. Like, if you like Bethesda games, you're gonna be fine. If you don't, give it about 30 to 40 hours and you'll be fine.
nice, 30 to 40 hours.
So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Spider Dude, who has shown up to do his section.
Hey everybody, I know I was a little bit late, but I'm here. A little bit
Yeah.
forgot about the podcast for 5
Oh,
seconds. It was eating wings, but I mean, can't go wrong with wings.
That's important. I mean, I get it. You gotta eat wings.
Yep.
what kind of wings did you get, Micah?
Buffalo Wild Wings. Well, I got the mild ones, and I got the sweet barbecue.
Dude, I always get the Parmesan garlic. Man, that
Oh
shit,
my god.
that shit slaps.
Parmesan
my
garlic
friend,
and buffalo are like my jam.
my
Yeah.
friend got the second hottest one in the menu, and he was just going nuts.
Yeah, I bet.
He ate like 5, and he's like, "Oh, I'm like,
Well, actually, talking about that, you guys hear about that kid who died from eating the one chip challenge or whatever?
oh yeah."
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for his family and him. But you don't eat those things in one bite, that's for sure. So
What's the one chip challenge?
it's they sell these like chips in a little container. Like honestly, I can find it and post it in the chat.
It's one of the
And
hottest.
yeah, they're super hot. And so you like buy them in a little. It's like a little coffin container. Let me see if I can find it. But dude, they're hot. Like it has a disclaimer on it, like essentially don't that you should not eat this in one bite. So here, I am sending you an article about it.
All right,
Um,
I will look
but
at
yeah,
this.
dude. But other than that, let's go ahead and move on to your section. Like, sorry about that.
Okay, you're good. I kind of started the conversation, but so first up on my list is Ahsoka. And pre-warning, I've only gotten halfway through the first episode, so I don't really have much information on it, just because yeah, life has just. So I'm probably just gonna let Kenny explain this one because he's the top guy.
Oh boy, Ahsoka. Listen, if I can explain Ahsoka in one fucking word, because I've thought about that. It's excellent. Dave Filoni
Oh.
is single-handedly between him and the other dude that runs the Mandalorian. Uh, fuck, what's his name? Because I want to give a shout out to both these guys. What's the name of the guy that directs the Mandalorian? Micah.
I have no
Um,
idea. I don't remember.
I know who you're talking about. And we can just look it up.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
Oh yeah, I did want to say one thing.
Yeah,
The only
Yeah,
part I'm
John
excited for.
Favreau. Go ahead,
go on.
Micah.
Oh, the only part I'm excited for Ahsoka is Chopper. He's got the most kill count in more than any like Star Wars character. If you search it up, he does. It's like, man. Well, actually, probably not. Never mind. He's the most kill counted droid. But like, I fell in love with Chopper when Star Wars Rebels came out. I haven't fully watched Star Wars Rebels, but once I saw Chopper, he was my guy.
I Dave Filoni and John Favreau are saving Star Wars. They're the reason. The guy that directed fucking Andor as well. Like all the ancillary parts of Star Wars, whether it be the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Andor, Rogue One, Solo, all of those things keep Star Wars alive. Uh, Ahsoka is no exception. Ahsoka excels because of its buildup. Like when you first start watching the show, something definitely seems off about the main character. Ahsoka Tano, while Rosario Dawson knocks it out of the park, it just something is not right with her. And but that's okay because the Dark Jedi on the flip side of that, Shin Hati and Balin Skull are so fucking phenomenal as like this almost Sith but not quite Sith duo, in the fact that they're Jedi who have kind of just gone rogue and become mercenaries, and you never quite know what their end goal is, but they're good. Balin Skull seems like the type of guy that just is constantly in control of every situation he's in. If anything, he's controlling himself in the situations. Shin Hati has this fucking intensity about her that's just like, you fuck with this chick and you're basically dancing with death. You know? Uh, I didn't watch Rebels per se, but I love Sabine Wren. I love uh, the conflict she has within her. You know, like the whole fact that she may or may not have force powers. Asuka's trying to train her, but at the end of the day, she's still a fucking Mandalorian, and like she could still fight if she needs to. And then, of course, she wants to find Ezra, and that guides her. That like guides her every step. It's not like I want to save the galaxy. I want to do this. Like I want to find Ezra Bridges. And this all culminates like the two aren't really working together. Ahsoka essentially gets like fucking swoosh swoosh. Spoiler alert, guys. You know, for here on out. But Ahsoka essentially gets killed by Balin Skull. Uh, in the fourth episode. And you're like, wait a second. The fucking the main character of this series just got murked. You
Oh,
know,
spoilers for that? Oh my gosh, I'm excited to get to it. That's all I can say. I've seen too many spoilers about that one thing.
but
Makes
then
me excited.
episode 5 comes along and she wakes up in the world between worlds and meets fucking Anakin Skywalker, like the
Hmm.
ghost of Anakin, and they hash it out exactly as you would expect. Where she's like, still has these fucking mixed feelings because she's like, you were my master, and then you became the Lord of the goddamn Sith. What the fuck is wrong with you? You know? And Anakin's like, I still have something to teach you, and he brings her to a live action version of the fucking Clone Wars. You know how badass that is? Something like fans have been clamoring for since that got released. Like the fact that
Yeah.
we got to see a young, like a really good version of fucking um Ahsoka Tano in live action right alongside Hayden Christensen's fucking Anakin Skywalker in his Clone War armor is like
That's pretty cool.
it's fucking cool.
Yeah,
It's
that's
it
pretty cool.
it's so goddamn good. And the next episode you meet Thrawn. And Thrawn is like fucking almost king in the sense that like
I'm glad he comes back.
you meet him and he sends the mercenaries after Ezra Bridger. He's like, go kill them. And the chick that like essentially went to rescue Thrawn, she's like, because they're in an entirely different universe at this point. She's like, well, wait, are we gonna go hunt down Ezra? And Thrawn's like, Ezra's not the point. I don't give a fuck. Like, if I leave here and Ezra's still here, that is so inconsequential to me because my whole mentality is retake the fucking universe back from the Republic. And I'm like, that guy's a real threat. Because
Yeah.
because he's not sitting here with the petty bullshit. He's not going, I need to destroy Ezra before I leave this place. He's like, if he gets left here, it means nothing to me because he's an entirely different universe and I'll be over there fucking reestablishing the empire. You know?
Dude, yeah, Thrawn is a really cool villain. Um, and I'm happy that they're using him.
Yeah, and like the guy who plays it so well. He's just like when he learns that Ahsoka's there, he's like, huh, Anakin's Padawan. That means she's unpredictable. We need to stay one step ahead of her. You know, it's like he's just got everything down to a science. Like he's so fucking tactical. And when he distracts Ahsoka because Ahsoka has to go down and rescue Sabine, uh, she ends up like turning the fucking tail on the fight. And Thrawn's like, recall the troops. We don't need to win this. She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, we're about to leave. These guys, they could do whatever. They could fuck off for all I care. You know? And it's like, oh shit. And after her encounter with Anakin, it's like a light switch gets flipped in Rosario Dawson. She becomes the Ahsoka that I've known and loved. Where she's like kind of like, hey, you know what? I'm in control of the situation. I'm here. I know how to handle this. I'm one of the fucking baddest Jedi in the goddamn universe, and I got two lightsabers. You know, it was heartwarming because like her and Sabine were at odds, and Sabine led the villains directly to Thrawn in an attempt to save Ezra or find him. And like when Ahsoka gets down there and meets up with Sabine, you think that she's just gonna lay into her like you fucked up, you did this. But like you see Sabine just have this complete anxiety, like Ahsoka, and then there's just this moment of silence as she turns to him with like the biggest fucking heartwarming grin on her face. Like, it's okay, we got this. And I'm just like, oh shit. It's like it's good. Watch Ahsoka. Even though I just ruined all of it for you. But watch
Dude,
it. It's
I
not
have the
over.
memory of a rat, so I will actually aren't rats supposed to have really good memories? So I'm gonna have to pick a
Sure, it's
different animal.
elephant.
I
An
think they
elephant.
both do. But long story short, I won't remember any of that, so I'll definitely be watching it. I still need to watch Obi-Wan, so I mean, yeah.
Obi-Wan's my shit too.
I still need to watch Endor.
Andor's so good. Andor's like on another level good. It's got one of the most like rousing speeches in the entirety of Star Wars. Because he comes like the Empire is like basically trying to hold down this fucking planet that's on the fucking tip of just being burnt over to the Republic. And like the whole thing's a boiling point and like this chick dies in there. Andor's like essentially mom. And her little robot goes out in the middle of the square and plays her final speech, and it just sends everybody into a fucking frenzy. And like It's almost like the New Republic kicks off right there. You know, like the rebellion.
Mm. Yeah, it seems like the
Hmm.
Star Wars shows are better than the Star Wars movies. Just the new Star Wars movies. So yeah,
I can agree with
but
that.
we don't
Like the
we don't
new.
have to go down that.
Yeah, we don't. All right, I could talk about this shit all day. Uh,
Yeah.
Micah, it's your turn again.
Okay, now to a topic that I fully know about. Blue Beetle, the new movie. In my opinion, it was great. I don't know about anybody else. It's just more of like James Gunn also said it was great. It was a great start to the his new universe. And I'm like, okay, cool, because it's just funny. That's all it is.
So
It's
when did
just
it come out?
like a couple months ago, I believe.
Oh shit, really?
It
Okay.
recently
Yeah.
left theaters, but
I
I
mean,
personally,
I've been doing dad stuff for the last 2 months, so I just saw Oppenheimer, so like
oh no, you're,
like
but
I'm
that's
lucky.
fair.
Yeah, well, damn, so it was good. Like, is it on Max yet or anything?
I don't think it's on Max yet, but I do know I did just check and it's on Voodoo. I
Okay.
mean, in my opinion, this might be a movie I might watch again, just because it is that funny and good. And I mean, oh, never mind, I'm not gonna say it, but
It's
it's got things connected to like Blue Beetle comics. I'd say.
uh,
What? Okay,
um.
so
Go ahead.
Batman's a fascist. Like I like. I didn't see the movie, but I like that line from the trailer. Did they elaborate on that part?
I think they were talking about in that part. I believe they were talking about how Jaime could be a hero, and then Jaime was like comparing himself to other heroes, and I think he said he's like I could be like Batman, with all these gadgets and stuff, and then his uncle was just like, "Nah, Batman's a fascist." Just
I did like that because it's an entirely different look on fucking Batman. Like
yeah,
it's crazy that that universe views him in that sense. Like, oh no, he's a guy that has the ability to do all this stuff, but he just does it to just beat the shit out of people night after night after night. You know?
yeah, which is actually funny because to tell you the truth, Jaime is a great character. Blue Beetle's a great character. But the whole reason that movie is funny is because of his uncle. His uncle just does a bunch of dumb things. Like there's they were ripping on a giant tech company, and he pulls out this giant generator that's supposed to be a signal blocker to block the security cameras, and he flips the switch and it doesn't work. He's like, "Oh, he's like telling everybody this is better than this tech company, like and everything." He flips the switch, it doesn't turn on. He's like, "Uh," then he hits it and it starts booting up, and then it just plays this random show that's just like nobody understands, and it's just completely stupid on the security cameras.
So it's definitely worth watching then.
Yes, it's just funny. It's like a whole like it's I
This,
know a
this
Blue Beetle's not a very big popular DC character, but this movie definitely brings popular to him. That's what I'd say.
that's cool.
No,
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I sleep on DC products because like I don't know. I'm not interested in a lot of the heroes, but I'll have to check it out since it's new. I mean, I gotta give it a chance every once in a while.
I mean truthfully, DC, and I may like pull a lot of flack for this, does not have as great of villains as Marvel does. You know,
Yeah.
like there's no, yeah, there's Darkseid, yeah, there's like fucking Steppenwolf and all that, but you know, on the flip side of that, you got Thanos, you got Galactus, you've got Doctor Doom, you've got all these great supervillains that would put like Lex Luthor to shame. But what DC does have in like a very very strong category is Batman and like his gallery of rogues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like Batman's villains make DC, in my opinion. Like, even though a lot of those villains would be immediately fucking annihilated if they went up against like Superman. You know,
Yeah.
like the Riddler's not gonna stand a chance against the Man of Steel. The
Yeah,
Joker would just be like, all right, unless he happened to have kryptonite on him, you know.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
man is literally powered by the sun. So, I mean, yeah. But no, that's cool. I'll have to check it out, man.
I will say, like James Gunn does a fantastic job of highlighting the lesser known heroes. Like he made the Guardians of the Galaxy what they are, and I mean nowadays, like they weren't as mainstream as they were before Guardians of the Galaxy One, and its killer fucking soundtrack. Uh,
Yeah.
Same with Peacemaker, and now that he's running DC, you know, we could see a resurgence in some of the better uh, B-list heroes, or even like uh, a better version of like some of the A-list heroes, because they haven't really been doing. I don't care how many fucking people clamor for the Snyder cut. Guess what? The Snyder cut's gonna be just as shitty as the regular cut because Snyder did it. Like
Yeah.
he ruined Batman. He drove Superman into the ground because last time I checked, they didn't shoot guns or snap people's necks. So I have high hopes for what James Gunn is gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess 3 of the main characters he's keeping for his universe is going to be Blue Beetle, Peacemaker, and the one lady that's like runs a jail, but she runs the Suicide Squad.
Amanda
Oh,
Waller.
yeah,
Yeah,
Waller.
he's keeping those 3 to do the thing,
That's
like
good.
in his universe.
I loved his Suicide Squad, and I loved his Peacemaker series.
Yeah, and
Like,
I actually just recently watched the Suicide Squad. I'm like, this is amazing.
it was done so well, and it was so much better.
Yeah.
Like the first Suicide Squad, I walked out on. I was like, this is fucking. The only good thing about this film is the Enchantress is hot, and Harley Quinn is actually Margaret Robbie did a really good job bringing the character of Harley Quinn to life. I feel like she didn't really embody Harley Quinn until like Birds of Prey and Beyond, when they stopped making her look like she was a street hooker. But like her characterization of her was pretty much spot on with what the show is like the Batman the animated series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree that she is a good actor too. It's just
Yeah, well, cool. Well, you want to move on to the next one?
yep. And then I'm going to talk about the TMNT movie, the new Ninja Turtles. Tell you the truth, I actually also enjoyed this one. It was funny. It has a little bit of couple different things than the other movies, like Leonardo actually liking April instead of like Donatello. But that's just a me thing because I watched the 2012 series. I don't know about any other movies.
In the previous ones, it was Donnie and Mikey would always be fighting over April.
Okay, yeah, the newer movie is Leo and Leo likes April, and all the other turtles rat at him about it, which is hilarious. There because they're like, haha, you got no riz. So they say, like, okay, Kenny, if you want to learn a lot of the new kids' language, watch this movie.
Listen, okay,
Well,
let, all right, listen here, swag. Okay, I know how to jive. All right, you turkey. See?
Sure.
yeah, you did it. You did it.
But, like, to tell you the truth, Seth Rogen did it perfect. The animation style with like more of like it's like more drawn and like how he picked the actors. Like
So
another
what you're saying is if
uh,
I watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'll finally be able to understand my nephews.
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Also, don't know if either of you. Well, I don't. Kirby would not know this, but Micah. whichever one's the nerdiest turtle, he actually is wearing a JoJo's Bizarre Adventures hoodie in one of the
Yeah.
scenes. And there's
Funny
actually
thing.
a lot of anime references throughout the movie that I've seen pop up. So
Yeah,
pretty cool.
there's a scene when because the whole Ninja Turtle, the whole basis of what they want is they want to be recognized and they want to live a normal life with humans, which is understandable because they are only like teenagers. And April actually, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but April takes them into the school at night to talk about the Superfly villain. And
Is that
Donnie,
Baxter Stockman?
Baxter Stockman actually dies like the first 10 minutes of the movie.
What? That's it.
It's a
I'm caught
mutant
in.
he creates. It's a mutant he creates named Superfly, which Superfly is Ice Cube, and he's a very interesting villain. But so what happens is Donnie actually sees Attack on Titan drawing on a locker, and he starts flipping out about it. He's like, "Oh my god, I don't know this person, but they are now officially my friend," and just flipping out about it.
And is it obvious it's Attack on Titan too? I actually haven't seen that. That's
I
funny.
think I think it just shows like the giant Titan
Got you.
on it, but like he knew right away. It was just like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
But like, it's a
Who are the
good comedy
villains
movie.
in it?
Uh, it's Superfly, and then it's also TCRI. Sadly, you okay, I'm gonna say this as a spoiler just because it is part of an end credit scene. But I was disappointed throughout the entire movie because I never saw Shredder. You
Yeah,
never see Shredder, but then at the end credit scene, because they already confirmed about the second movie, but the main like the girl behind the scenes that runs TCRI, she's like, okay, finding the mutants is going to be a lot easier than we thought, but taking them in is going to be harder. And then the guard back in the back was like, well, there is one other option. And she's like, yes. And it like zooms out from New York City and it's raining and storming. And then it like you see the claws and all that like start popping up. And she's like, okay, bring me the shredder. And lightning just flashes and you see the entire shredder just standing there. And I got the chills. I'm like, oh.
honestly, yeah, because Shredder. Like, okay, so do they have Bebop, Rocksteady, Leatherhead, any of them?
Yes, they have Bebop, Rocksteady, Leatherhead, Mondo Gecko. Which
Oh,
is funny thing. There's a funny thing behind Mondo Gecko. There's a frog. There's a bat. They're a little bit different. Then there's also a mutated cockroach. But it's actually like a good selection of mutants, which is pretty nice. They actually start out with Superfly at first, and then once they realize how bad Superfly is, they're like, okay, we're gonna help the turtles fight. But
oh, so Leatherhead teams up with the.
yeah, Leatherhead is basically what they did is they didn't make a giant turtle. I mean, a giant uh, alligator. They instead made an Australian type of alligator with a shotgun, which is a little bit funnier
That sounds
because I
like
mean,
Leatherhead, honestly. Wait,
yeah,
he's still an alligator, right?
it's actually a she, but yes, it is still an alligator.
Mm.
Okay.
But the funny thing about Mondo Gecko is he's voiced by Paul Rudd. And it throughout the movie, the turtles actually ripped out on Paul Rudd and
What?
like commented on Paul Rudd.
I'm looking at Mondo
Like the
Gecko.
actor Paul Rudd, like they actually make
Yeah,
fun of.
yeah.
That's pretty
They
funny.
mentioned like the whole Hulk scene, and they're like, "Yeah, They were like, "Yeah, we heard Paul Rudd improvised with that scene and was just like talking about him." And then at the end, they were like, "Mikey, you know who's better at improving than Paul Rudd ever? Is you."
You know, All right. So I like the throwbacks. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah,
I
it's definitely worth watching.
I do appreciate that Ninja Turtles is still very much a viable thing. You know,
Yeah.
like that could have gone very easily south in like the 2000s, but they kept keeping it alive, mostly thanks to
Yeah. Until they brought the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
yeah.
But another one of my favorite scenes, though, was they actually beat up an entire garage of people, and April comes in, and she's like, she hears the turtles talking, and she's like, okay, just saying, it's more sus if you hide in the dark. And they start freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh, it's bad. She called us sus. And then Leo decides to walk out. He's like, okay, I'm sorry. And she's like, oh. And then this is like the most relatable scene for me because they were talking and April's like freaking out. And then Mikey comes up. He's like, okay. Why don't we talk about this over pizza? And then April was like, do you like pepperoni or cheese? And then Mikey, all the turtles were flipping out like, man, we didn't think we'd get this far.
All right, listen up, swag. I don't want to be sus, homie. So I will scope Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Yeah, is this still in theaters?
I think it recently left.
Oh, okay.
So,
Damn. Oh well. Well, I'll watch it on Prime or something.
yeah, it's also on Voodoo again.
Wait, you don't
Yeah.
have Barbie or Oppenheimer on here. What what was that weekend like for you?
That was a nightmare.
I'd say that
That was nuts.
theater was busy.
I will admit it, I haven't seen Oppenheimer, but I've heard amazing things. And I've actually got a funny story since we're actually on the topic of Barbie. Okay, in the whole thing, Ken figures out that men are also like halfway ruling the world because they're all on. Like, he figures out that men have more of a purpose because Barbie Land, it's more of just Barbie, and Ken's just left off to the side. But so he takes over Barbie Land and calls it Ken Land. Ken is just interesting because at first he thinks that the world is ruled by horses, and it's just yeah. But there's one Ken, and it's the Mermaid Ken, which is John Cena. And there's a whole funny story behind how John Cena came into the movie. Because John Cena being a nice guy, Margaret Robbie was actually having dinner at a restaurant, and like the waitress comes up, and Margaret Robbie's like, "Don't I have to pay?" They're like, "Nah, John Cena's got you covered." And she's like, "What?" So she goes around looking for John Cena and finds him sitting at a table eating. She's like, "Why'd you pay for me?" He's like, "Just 'cause you're here. I'm just didn't do it." And then she's like, looks at him. She's like, because he was there filming his own like show or movie. I forgot what it was. And then she asked him like, "Hey, would you by any chance like a 5-minute part in the Barbie movie?" And he's like, "Sure." And she's like, goes to the Barbie movies filming the next day. She's like doubting that he probably won't come, and he actually just appears. And he's like, "I'm here. Where's my 5-minute part?" So like it was hilarious on trying to get John Cena to do that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. John Cena went from WWE to being such a big actor. So
He's
Yeah.
just like one of those guys that just seems completely cool to just like
Well,
he has the most hospital visits for Make-A-Wish Foundation out of any celebrity out there.
that's pretty cool.
well,
Like
he like personally respects everyone. It's amazing.
yeah, he it's said like, and he didn't make a big thing out of this, but apparently if he's ever in a town and some kid's like, I want to see John Cena, he'll drop what he's doing to go do that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, although like he's just like that. He's an awesome guy. Like, even if you look on his Instagram page, like, it's been verified. All it is memes. Nothing else, just memes.
See, he knows how to talk to the kids.
Yeah.
Maybe I can learn a thing or two from John Cena.
Yeah, like,
I
did
think
you
we all
hear,
can.
like, after he played Peacemaker, he never took the suit off. He would wear it to every single interview. Like, he loved that suit.
That's kind of legit.
It's like he's a great person. I love it.
Okay, so I don't recognize any of these other films other than. Actually, I don't.
Well, I was wondering, what were you gonna say about Hell of a Boss, Micah? I'm kind of I'm kind of surprised that you've actually just picked it up. Did you discover it recently or what?
Well, so a friend of mine has actually been nagging me to watch this, and
Yeah.
it's been like, it's like, okay, fine, I'll watch it. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's
Yeah,
just pure
go
funny.
ahead.
That's
Yeah,
fun.
the fan base is a little bit wild. There's actually a giant joke because like Hell of a Boss is a YouTube series, and then Has Been Hotel has been was announced years ago, and but like, dude, it's insane. Every time you go to a con, there are going to be a bunch of people dressed up as characters from Vivzi's random little shorts plus a show that has not even come out yet.
Well, the
You
funny thing
know,
is, recently, very like yesterday, they announced that Has Been Hotel is
yeah.
actually coming to Prime Video.
Yeah, January. Yeah. So I actually texted my sister and said, "Welp, looks like we're gonna see 50,000 people dressed up as has-been hotel characters in February. Can't wait for that." Not that I don't like her stuff. It's just that like I just find the fan base to be a little obnoxious. But there's so many shows that are like that. But it is legitimately pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I can't hate too much. It's just one of those things where like I find that a lot of interesting people have attached themselves to the show.
I
Yeah,
might
which
have to
is
go to the con because Millie's kind of hot in the Hell of a
what
Boss.
you should watch it. Millie is like the most insane character. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Moxie is more of like the character that's just like, why don't we just settle this a nice way? Blitzo is like the nuts boss.
Well,
It's
and
just
Moxie's voiced by the same voice actor who did Invader Zim, Kirby. So
Oh.
yeah. So it's got some talent on it. It can be a little too edgy for its a little bit too edgy sometimes, but
yeah,
it overall it's good. It's good. I don't want to be a hater. So like a lot of people like it. And Kesha is actually like voices a character in one of the features. So like I can't be a hater.
Listen,
It's definitely good.
listen, all right, Jordan, you don't want to be a player hater, as the kids say.
Yes. No, it's always funny because I know that I have clouded judgment just due to the cosplayers, and I'm like, you know what, this is good content. If I had never seen a hell of a boss cosplayer, I'd be telling you how good it is. So
yeah, that's fair. I know. I joined a server, and oh my gosh, the people are not
yeah,
fun
yeah,
to
dude. I
talk
mean,
to.
it's like My Hero Academia fans, dude. They're just on a different level of cringe, but that's
Yeah,
okay. It's all right. Still a good show.
yeah. It's very entertaining. My favorite one is when Moxie gets drunk. Like my favorite line of just saying, he's like, he slides under Millie. And then he's like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, fish!" and just gets
The
gobbled
fish.
up by a fish.
Yeah, it's very it's funny because it's very cartoon-esque, but with like a
Very
gory,
adulty
edgy
content.
scene. Yeah, so I'm interested to see how Has Been is.
Hold
So
on,
Well,
what's
they
it on?
so Hell
YouTube.
of a Boss is on YouTube, but Has Been Hotel has been in production for like fucking 2-3 years at this point, and it's coming out on Prime. So
Yeah, so
yeah,
basically it was a very small YouTube shorts, and then it turned out to be a big series.
yeah,
On YouTube.
Which,
I can watch it
yeah,
for free.
yeah,
Okay.
yep.
yeah.
Watch it for free. Yeah,
But there's never like a scene where Blitzo is not flipping anybody off. That's the funny part.
yeah. Well, for the sake of time, if we keep moving on.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
Okay.
no, dude, you're good.
Hunting in Venice. I'm not gonna. I haven't seen it yet, but it is like a small movie that just came out. It's not very popular or big,
What's it about?
but it's basically a detective murder mystery movie, like normal, but instead it's like has a horror type to it. So like there's a ghost that's like messing with this guy as he's trying to figure out a murder, like a mystery from somebody killing somebody. And it's just basically everybody gets locked in this house and it just happens.
What's it rated?
PG-13, so it's not as like bloody and gory, but
Well,
I mean
and
there's a couple scenes.
and so it's actually a sequel to Death on
Oh,
the
it is?
Nile. Yeah, yeah. There was a murder mystery movie called Death on the Nile that had Gal Gadot and like a bunch of other really good actors, and so it's I think it's the same detective essentially.
Oh,
It's kind
that's
of the
cool.
same way that you've got the James Bond actor who does like Glass Onion and the other
Oh,
one.
Knives Out.
Yeah, Knives Out. Like you've got that James. You know,
Yeah.
I only know them as James Bond,
Dude,
but
Bond.
Daniel Craig is his name, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's the same. It's kind of the similar. You've got the same detective solving other. Yeah, I've yeah, it's supposedly pretty good. I'm glad you put it on there.
This might be the most like known fact, but did you know that he had an uncredited part in Star Wars?
Daniel Craig?
Yeah.
No, what did he do?
He was filming, I think, not Skyfall, the one before that at the time, and he walked into like they were filming, I think, not in the one that's basically a rip off of A New Hope, uh,
Yeah,
fuck whatever, this is episode 7,
yeah.
and he was just like, listen, I'm a Star Wars fan, can you throw me in here? And J.J. Abrams was like, yeah, you know what, whatever, we'll give you a part. His part is the part where Rey's strapped down to the table and she convinces the stormtrooper to let him go and give him his gun. Give her his gun.
Oh, that's him.
That's Daniel Craig.
That's
That's pretty funny.
And he didn't want the credit or anything. He just wanted to play a fucking stormtrooper in
He's like
Star Wars.
he's like I just want to be in the universe. It's
man.
cool when actors are just people too. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, the next is the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Oh my gosh, I have so many friends that are just excited for that.
They already did
That
Yeah.
this.
yeah,
Well,
I
mine are.
it's funny because they made a like a movie that was similar to it, right, with Nicolas Cage.
Well,
Is that correct?
I hate to take this apart. I really do because I'm very much angry all the time. But
Don't be a hater, Kirby.
listen,
Don't be.
I'm gonna take a moment to be a player hater. Micah, can I be a player hater on this movie
Yeah,
for
go
a
ahead.
second? They
I
did
mean, to
this.
admit it, I've never actually played Five Nights at Freddy's or watched anything about it. So go ahead.
Oh,
I haven't seen this film, but if it's anything like any other fucking video game movie out there outside of like maybe The Last of Us, it's probably gonna be garbage, half-assed, and a cash grab. They did this movie 10 times better with a movie called Wally's Wonderland. It's on Hulu
yeah,
as Nicolas Cage, and
yeah.
he gets forced to basically stay overnight and clean this old fucking pizzeria to get his car fixed, and it goes completely off the wall bonkers. And I can tell you this: Nicolas Cage says nothing throughout the
Nothing. Yeah.
entire fucking film, and it's wonderful. His entire acting is all glances and looks, and just
So
beating the shit out of animatronics. He
so
is
you don't know? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, man.
No, it's just basically Brock Sampson meets fucking Five Nights at Freddy's.
Dude, that's another one. Do you know who Brock Sampson is, Micah?
No.
Yeah, man, that I wish that show would make a comeback so much, dude. Um, but yeah, no, it's funny, dude. The Five Nights at Freddy, like, so the game is just a fucking, like, you're in a room with an iPad essentially, and you're flipping back and forth between cameras and shutting the doors whenever they come up to the doors. I mean, that's
Yeah,
literally what the
it's
first game was.
depressing.
But what's nuts is that the creator has created this giant empire off of that, and I'll be honest, I have no fucking idea about the lore. I do not care enough. But all I know is that it is like one of the deepest fucking things in the world. I know there's like almost like a Final Fantasy style game based off of Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, I've seen it before, and I'm like, what the fuck
A
is
security
this?
breach.
Yeah, and I'm just like, this is, but dude, it is crazy how much people love it. Like, I remember when that movie first got announced, people were like, their eyes are the wrong colors. Like, this is not good. But people were like, actually, it might be okay because it means they're being controlled by this other entity. And I was like, bro, what the fuck is going on
Well,
in this story?
actually, their eyes might be a different color because Garbazar on planet Zor could be controlling these animatronics.
Dude,
It's
If you
and what
really
the,
want a good Five Nights at Freddy's thing, search up Five Nights at Freddy's the musical. It's
and
made by one of the YouTubers, Markiplier. But I suppose I watched it and it's actually pretty funny and it's just stupid.
now,
you
see,
say it's
I
made
would
by a
watch that.
small indie YouTuber named Markiplier. I'll have to check him out, give him a follow or two.
Well, he's not very small anymore.
No,
But
no, that's a joke. I know. I
oh,
was just
okay.
kidding because Markiplier is absolutely fucking massive. So like he's honestly like Markiplier. It's always funny because like I remember when he was small and then when he just like blew the fuck up and like people. I'm I'm gonna stop. It's funny. It's just the I just want to say the fans of Markiplier are very strange people, and they draw him doing very strange things. So
Yeah.
it's
That sounds about right. Like,
yeah,
I mean, Supernatural. Like at some point in the show, uh, they they uh, they break the fourth wall and they find out about a book series called Supernatural, based on their life. And they're like, yeah, so we got Sam fans and we got Dean fans, and then we got Sam and Dean fans. And Dean's like, what's that? Sam's like, you don't want to know.
dude, they put that in the show. That's in the show,
Yeah, the Supernatural is fantastic on
dude.
many
That's
different
so
levels.
funny. That's so funny.
They even like there's one episode where they attend a musical of Supernatural at a high school because they have to like solve a crime there, and they're like, "What the fuck?" Because
Don't they
it's
also don't they also like literally shatter the lives of the Scooby Doo people?
oh yeah, they get sucked into a Scooby Doo cartoon in one episode.
Amazing.
And
It's
then they just
fucking
ruin
great.
their lives. Like I love how Fred's like, "You're telling me I've been doing this wrong this entire time?"
Yeah. Well,
Um, but yeah, I can't see Five Nights at Freddy's being any better than Wally's Wonderland, and I'm sorry for all the Five Nights at Freddy's fans out there that are going to be like, "Second Coming to Christ." It's not. It's going to be shitty, and maybe I'm just old and everything's shitty to me, but I'm not gonna watch it.
well, the big thing is, man, is they do not care what we think.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
are like it's
Yeah.
one of those fandoms. It's like the Hell of a Boss fandom. They do not give a fuck what people think. And they never will. And honestly, more power to them, man. They're happy. So
You
just
know
let them
what?
be
Yeah,
happy.
if that makes you happy, then be a hell of a lot happier than I am in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be as depressing as this guy. It's okay.
Yeah, keep it keep it swag, players.
He grew too old. It's fine.
I'm interested in your last one, man. What do you think of it?
Now, how did you even see this?
You can be 17 and older to go see a movie.
You're 17 now?
No,
I
I'm
mean,
18.
yeah, well, you're 18?
Yes, I'm 18.
Oh,
Micah, you're 18.
well, there we
Yeah, I'm
go.
18.
You're legal now.
I mean,
Now we
But
could be like, we could cuss and all sorts of stuff and not get in trouble.
yeah. Well, okay. Have you guys seen it? That's the question.
not yet. No. Is it good though?
It's interesting.
Wait, did you just turn 18 on Thursday?
Yes, I did.
Oh, well, congratulations. Welcome to adulthood. I hope you like
Yeah,
taxes.
I'm gonna be like that guy that's just like, I need an adult. You're adult.
Look, Micah, here's the secret to being an adult, okay? You think
Don't be Kenny.
just do not be me. You think adults have all the answers, and it isn't until about you're like 30 something that you're like, oh shit, I'm an adult and I have none of the answers.
Yeah, seems about right.
Hashtag facts. But go on.
But so Strays is very interesting. There's a lot of very interesting scenes. I mean, pre-warning to men, boys, guys. Let's just say it's very painful for us. The ending is.
Do they get
Um,
castrated?
what?
No, but I think the main antagonist gets his balls bit off, so
Yeah,
Oh,
and pre-warning, they do show it. Like they don't show the actual balls, but they show the dog ripping at him full grown. It's very painful to watch, but
ouch.
it's funny. There's a lot of inappropriate things. Dogs cuss a lot. Um,
Makes sense.
there's the stuffed animal scene after eating mushrooms. Um, yeah,
Micah, you're just
it's
getting all these new ideas from an
well,
R-rated movie.
so okay. I'll explain the stuffed animal scene just because it's funny. So basically, the dogs are like starving and they run into mushrooms. And they're like, okay, these look edible. So they eat it. They get high, like crazy high. And the main dog finds a hole and he's like, oh my gosh, guys, I found all these stuffed animals. And he pulls one out and it's a stuffed animal. Like, and then the other dogs join in and start pulling them out. And then they pass out, they wake up. It's an entire crime scene of dead bunnies. And they're
Oh
like,
shit!
oh my god.
Oh
And
my
they're
god! I gotta
and
watch
they're
this.
yeah, and they're flipping out like crazy. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we just murdered a bunch of bunnies! Oh no!" And then then they bury it, and then they're like, "Okay, we got to make a funeral." And then these police dogs come up, and they're like, "Oh, it wasn't us."
Police dogs?
Yeah,
Okay, I kind of gotta. All right, I'll watch the show.
and then also,
oh,
if you've seen the Dog's Purpose, you actually get to see that dog in it. Except for the second dog actually makes that dog regret his life choices because he's called a narrator dog. And then the dog's like, then the dog is like, okay, just fix your life and tell the truth. And then the dog starts going off like, yeah, my owner has like 6 bodies in his backyard. He hasn't told anybody yet. After being all happy about his owner.
You know, honestly, I can't watch dogs for. It's for the same reason that I can't watch fucking Marley and Me,
mm,
because I
Sad.
know it's gonna rip my heart out.
Yeah, it really does. Although the guy actor, the human for that show is also in it, and his little scene is also funny because he's actually just bird watching, and he's like, "Ooh, cool! There's that bird." Looks down at his clipboard. It just says bird, 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 bird. He crosses out one of the birds.
That sounds like me bird watching. I was like, I have to put no effort into this. That's a bird.
But yeah, it's a funny movie, that's for sure. It's just also that last part. So that's painful, but it's funny. That's what I can say.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Now I'm gonna pass it to Sir Jordan.
Sir
Okay.
Jordan the Third.
Yep. Sir
Okay.
Jordan.
So I'm gonna share my screen. Give me 1 second.
I just want to say, when you like turned on your camera earlier, you looked like fucking Shadow Man from
Yeah.
Mass Effect.
That's why I immediately. That's why I immediately turned it off because I look like I'm about to sell your body on the fucking black market. So.
Commander Shepard, we have to talk.
So here we go, guys. I'm only on one screen today, so here, let me pull out my notes. Okay, so yeah, so from now on, this section's known as the Weeb Report. It just makes the most sense doing anime and manga in there. First thing I'm talking about is this. This is super fucking well known. Have you guys heard of Jujutsu Kaisen? Have either of you?
I guess it's not
uh,
that well known.
just never.
I haven't
Dude,
heard of it.
I mean, Mike, have you seen it be played in your theater?
I think so. It might have
Yeah.
been.
Yeah, because they had I can't remember exactly what it's called, but they had a movie come out a while ago. Dude, I slept on this series. It is definitely one of the better shows out there. Animated by Mappa, which Attack on Titan, and essentially the show is about cursed energy. So like essentially anywhere that has generates a lot of bad feelings, schools, prisons,
Oh.
cemeteries, hospitals, like these curses, this cursed energy lives there.
Child's
and
birthday parties.
and yeah, dude, exactly. I mean, no, like homes of maybe like abandoned children, orphanages, like any area like that. So these curses latch onto people, and essentially there's a group of people, these jujutsu sorcerers, who can like see it. And the show starts off with this kid Itadori. I think he's like 18. He's like older, and essentially his dad. I think it's his grandfather actually is in the hospital, and his grandfather basically tells him like, dude, you got to do something with your life, like do something amazing. And so Itadori ends up like finding this. He's at school with his friends who are like in this like they like spirits. They're kind of like a paranormal club, and essentially he ends up stumbling upon this cursed finger, this like vessel. And it sounds weird, dude, and honestly the first time I watched the show I actually didn't like it. Like I watched like 5 or 6 episodes and I was like, honestly, this is not really that interesting. I've got a lot of other stuff to watch. But he eats this finger that's like a cursed object, and they actually keep cursed, like very potent cursed objects at places like this because it will ward off weaker curses. He ends up eating it, and he becomes this vessel for like this extremely strong curse. And the
That's
show's
bullshit.
the beginning of the
The last
go
time
ahead.
I ate a fucking finger, all I got was E. coli.
Yeah. Well, and so, dude, it's wild because he like it's like a total accident, which is kind of crazy to think. How do you accidentally eat a finger? Um, but
I did
dude, it's
that one.
just at first I didn't really like it because I was like,
It
dude, I just don't
happens.
get this whole thing of him being like a vessel. Like it seems a little bit just like out there. But what's cool, man, is that's not the main story of this show. They do a lot of cutting back and forth. Like the start of the movie is actually before Itadori even comes along. Um, season 2 is actually even before that movie. It's when like the main teacher, like Goju, is like hang like just kind of doing his own thing, and it actually explains the main villains of the movie. They really just they go around. The creator has just like really fleshed out this world, so it's not your typical show where you just like follow the main protagonist. it's a fleshed out world of everyone. Um, and I don't know. I highly recommend it. The animation's great. I've been actually reading the manga too because the show is ongoing right now, season 2, but when it's over, I'm like, yeah, I want to keep going on. And cuz it's one of those ones where like, I think the show is at chapter 76 right now, and there's 234 chapters available to read.
Jesus.
So, yeah, I mean, it's the same with a lot of these dudes. Chainsaw Man season 1 only goes up to like chapter 40, and there's 130 chapters of Chainsaw Man. So it's funny whenever anyone talks about Chainsaw Man and they're like, "I'm such a huge fan," and I'm like, "Oh, how far have you read?" They're like, "Oh, well, I just watched the show," and I'm like, "You have no fucking idea where the show is going." Like you like, I'm not in like a superiority way, but I'm just like, I feel bad for you because people are getting tattoos and stuff, and I'm like, this show very much changes. Like, I would not get a tattoo until you've read the whole source material.
The
um
I mean, it was kind of the same way with Naruto. Like when I got to Shippuden, I ran out of like this is back when I was in the Navy. I ran out
Yeah,
of episodes, and like I was running on fucking dubbed at that point. Not
yeah,
dubbed, but like subbed because they had no dubbed episodes, and I had to switch over to the manga.
yeah, yeah, dude. And it's nuts because I mean, it's and people are like, oh, why does that happen? I'm like, dude, of course it's gonna happen. The manga's maybe drawn by one guy, and he might have an apprentice, one person, and they might have an apprentice who does like their shading and stuff. But like they're able to create the story way faster than like an entire animation team, voice line team. They do the voices in English, Japanese, you know Italian, French. Like, it's like, of course it's going to take way more to get this going. But yeah, dude, honestly, great show, highly
Yeah,
recommend it.
it's almost like manga artists aren't, George R. R. Martin, who somehow run out of the ability to write one fucking book in 7 years when they
you
did
know
The
Game of
funny
Go
thing,
Thrones.
ahead. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate because Demon Slayer actually falls prey to what George R. R. Martin is trying to prevent. Is Demon Slayer actually ended early because the manga artist had like some help, like family issues, and so he like Demon Slayer just all of a sudden ends, and people who've read the manga are like, man, this sucks. Like, this is not a good ending. It seems like too much of like a fairy tale ending. I mean, a lot of fucked up shit happens too, but it's like this. So I mean, George R. R. Martin, dude, I think he's trying to avoid that, but it's inevitable, unless he just dies and then never releases it, and then it's like, well, I
Look,
guess they'll never be disappointed because you just never released it.
if you have the time to collaborate on a video game and then release an entirely different book about the Targaryen fucking history that nobody asked for, you probably could have written The Winds of Winter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, sorry, go on. I
No,
digress.
no, no, you're good. But I'm gonna go to our next topic.
oh
So,
wait, I actually want to say something. I remembered where I heard Jujutsu Kaisen from. They actually did a recent Fortnite event with it.
oh yeah, they did. They
Yeah,
also are in Fortnite with Master Chief and
yeah, as
Doom
usual. But like,
and
that's where I heard it.
it's insane. Yeah, I forgot they actually had characters in it. Um, so yeah, so the next topic, man, is so Castlevania Nocturne literally came out
Dude,
yesterday.
my fucking jam. Uh,
So
sorry, go on.
no, yeah. So Nocturne came out. So to my surprise, it's actually the same animators. Because I was like, oh, the style is different. I thought maybe they gave it to somebody else. So Nocturne takes 300 years after the original. It's about Richter Belmont, and Richter Belmont. In the games, it's actually they kind of are going on the game. Well, they're not going on the game storyline most because it's pretty out there. But you know, essentially Richter is after Simon. Simon was in the original games, like the beginning, and then Richter is in the 1994 like Rondo of Blood, and he's in Symphony of Night. So the new show is about Richter, And dude, honestly, I've only watched one episode at this point, but holy shit, guys, like this is good shit. It's fucking it pulls the heartstrings right off the bat, man. I watch it. Like honestly, like I really liked Castlevania. And like you can see the original art style is honestly it's pretty similar. Just Richter looks a lot more pretty boy than Simon. I don't
Yeah.
know. But it's honestly really good.
Trevor.
I like I'm. Is it Trevor Belmont?
It's Trevor Belmont.
Yeah, you're right. It is Trevor Belmont.
So wait, I got a couple questions. One,
Yeah.
um, without Warren Ellis, it's still written pretty well.
So the reviews I've seen is that it's pretty good. And I mean, let's be real, the ending of the original show was not the greatest writing. Like that last season kind of like carried weird. I still liked it, but
Well,
everyone's
point counterpoint. Look, I loved Isaac's arc throughout like the third and fourth season. Like when he started questioning why he does what he does and who he really is in the world, and then just becomes like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Focuses up and then like goes after the vampires. Like I remember before I saw the episode. You remember where he rips open the sky and he's just like, I'm gonna take this vampire castle.
yeah.
I finished that episode and then I went and I was talking with my coworker and I'm like, Isaac's about to fucking steamroll them. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because Isaac has what all of them lack, and that's fucking focus. Like he's just gonna go in and like blaze through that fucking castle. And then he did, and then he fought Carmilla in one of the best like death scenes I've seen in anime. Uh, and fought her like I would play Diablo, where he's just like attack, 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 send in the minions, back off. You know, I'm like, okay, sorry. I love Castlevania.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I enjoyed it too, but I'll be honest, like I can barely remember the entire plot of that last season. Like like it was very complicated some in some areas that felt like it was overly complicated, you know what I mean? Now the animation was fucking amazing, so I at the same time I don't really care. Also, there was a Berserk reference. You know the vampire chick who was like more buff
Yeah,
and she wore that armor? That was basically the Berserk armor.
Friga.
And yeah, um, but I mean, it was really good. I'm just overall, I'm excited to see that that Netflix is willing to put more money into it, and I think they've already been confirmed for a second season. So
So, what? My other question is that does Alucard show up? Because technically he should still be alive.
so the main baddie in this one is someone called Urzabet Bathory, and at this point, I haven't watched the whole season. I haven't had the time. It came out yesterday. And also I think they're doing a halvesies thing. So they're like releasing 8 episodes and then they're going to release another 8 episodes in like a couple months.
Okay.
Yeah. So we will see. It's more of like the American Revolution types. I wouldn't say American because they're still in Europe, but it's very much like the vampires are like noblemen and they're like the powdered wig musket wielding like type.
Oh, would you say
So
like the French Revolution? Like what the
yes, the
show is
French
based off
Revolution.
of? All right, go
Yes.
on.
Is the original show based off the French Revolution?
This one is based off the French Revolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
The original show is not.
Yeah, I'm not a history buff, so I apologize. So I'm glad you.
No, look. I didn't mean to spot check you in your own section.
No, no, you're good. I mean, I really just look at the animation. Like so I love it. I'm not the biggest Castlevania fan, so I'm glad you are.
The French Revolution came about because essentially, and I hate to make this like example because I do love this country, but a lot of what this country is becoming, where there's this huge class divide between like the elite and the poor. It got to a point in the France where it was just like the elite were far too elite. The poor were far too poor and were never going to climb to like the middle class or above. So they revolted.
Got you. Okay. No, that I mean, and that's from watching the show so far. That's basically what they're talking about,
Yeah.
and it seems basically like the vampires are the higher class. So, but no, I mean the animation though is amazing. Definitely worth it. Next is honestly a show that neither of you were gonna know. I'd be fucking mind blown if you were, but it's called Bungo Stray Dogs. My
Hey, I do know
sisters.
that.
Whoa.
No, I'm joking. I don't.
God damn it,
Okay,
Micah.
I was about to say, Micah, you would, because Micah likes, from following you on Instagram, you do like a bunch of obscure shows. Um, and this is definitely one of the more obscure shows that I'm like, yeah, I would never have watched this unless it was for my sister. Because she was like, she basically made a deal with me. She said, Jordan, I'll watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventures if you watch this show. And I was like, what the fuck even is this? But honestly, dude, this show is a fucking sleeper cell. The first like 3 seasons are honestly just very okay. Essentially, what the show is based off of is that typical you have these people who have powers, they're born randomly. The cool thing about the show is every single character is based off of a writer, like a real writer in the real world. So, like for example, the main cast is essentially all Japanese authors. And then, like in the third season, they actually fight a bunch of American authors. So you've got like Edgar Allan Poe, the creator of The Great Gatsby, Fitzgerald, and a
Ooh,
bunch of other random people. And so it's really cool because all their powers are based off of the authors themselves. There's a
that's cool.
character like there's an author who like wrote a book called I Am a Cat, and so like the guy who's named after him has like a power that he can like turn into a cat on spot and spy on people. But I mean, then that's like kind of like a more minuscule power. Edgar Allan Poe can put people in a book in fiction. Um, but it's a good ass show. It's essentially a detective show. Um, and it's so intricate. And the fourth and fifth season is just chef kiss fucking amazing. Like I couldn't put it down. Like it took me a, like years to just get through the first 3 seasons. And
Hey,
then
You
it's,
send me this because actually, now that you mentioned that it's like full of book writers, I'm actually kind of interested now.
yeah, I can send it to you.
Just
And it's
because.
so it's just it's I don't know. It's just intricate. I love the characters. They're one of the main characters in the show is called Rompo, and it's the big joke is that he doesn't have a power. The president convinces him that he has a power, but he's actually just a great detective.
hey
And
Jordan.
so, yeah, go ahead.
Um, let's. I mean, now that you've described the show, what's the name of it again for the listeners out?
It's called Bungo Stray Dogs.
Because that actually sounds like a really anime.
Yeah, but I will say the first couple seasons a little rough. Like I don't know, my sister would disagree with me, but but the fourth season is essentially like it's just I can't if I say anything about it, I'll just ruin it. It's one of those where it's like you need to experience it for yourself and not know anything about the plot going into it. So
Yeah.
um yeah, so the next one is it's called Kagurabachi. It's actually a new manga. It's only got like two two chapters right now. It's essentially about like a man, like essentially a guy and his dad are like blacksmiths, and they create these katanas. And his dad is like a famous blacksmith, created these 6 katanas for some great war, and he's essentially teaching his son like, hey, we have to make sure that these don't end up in the wrong hand. Like just because we're the blacksmiths doesn't mean that we can just like make swords and not think about who wields them. And his dad ends up getting killed, and so we're essentially figuring out what's going on. But like I don't know why, but it's taken the manga scene by storm. Everyone is talking about it. It looks pretty good. Like honestly, I wish I could have gotten some better panels on it. But I didn't really. I should have taken the time to get them in here. But it's on Shonen Jump and it's free right now because it's new, and everything that's new for Shonen is free on their app. So definitely worth checking it out. And essentially, he's just hunting down the people who killed his dad. So I mean, nothing too fleshed out here from out here though. It's 2 chapters. So any questions on it or?
No.
Um, I was just thinking, like, maybe we should say the name again at the end of these. And I don't mean it
Yeah.
like in any like necessarily bad way, but like video games and movies and TVs, people are more uh
Yeah.
um exposed to, whereas anime they wouldn't be as exposed to. So if, like, let's
Yeah.
say you say this is Kagurabachi, and like
Kagurobachi. Yeah.
you explain this really cool show, but then people are like, "What the fuck was it
Yeah.
called?" You know?
Yeah. No, you're right. And it is like they've all got funny names, so it's kind of funny. Yeah, no, Kagurobachi. It's on Shonen Jump right now, completely free. So check it out. But yeah, next one, and honestly, like you guys have probably seen it just floating around on Netflix. But so Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. Weird ass name, but essentially it's
This is on
about.
Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Okay.
And they've actually Netflix. I don't know why they did this, but they just decided, we're gonna create the anime and we're gonna create an IRL movie that is it. So like they're kind of creating like the content twice. But it's honestly it's really good. They otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it here. It's essentially about a guy who works in like production for movies and animation, and he realizes that like, oh my god, this is the worst. Like working is fucking hell. Um like, and it's pretty funny because he like gets into it and he's like it's his first day and he's enjoying it, and they go out to dinner, and he's like excited and he's like, oh, I'm really like, the assistant is really cute, and then he's like, okay, cool, I'm about to leave, and they're like, what do you mean leave? We're all gonna go back to the office. We have a deadline to meet. And so he spends like a whole year at this place and it's hell. He's like, this is the worst. And he's like considering suicide and like all this stuff, and it's just like very real. And like he has a crush on like the office assistant, and she's like sleeping with the boss though. It's like really like depressing. And then what happens is all of a sudden there's a zombie apocalypse. And what does this guy do? He fucking celebrates. He's like, I don't have to go back to work. Like, thank fucking God. Like, I can do whatever I want now. So it's really funny. It's got some sad overtones in there. It's interesting too because they don't show blood. Well, there's blood, but it's all like multicolored. It's all like paint. And it paints this bright world. And I think it's just because he has like a bright outlook on the zombie apocalypse.
You know,
Um,
I'm not gonna lie. I've thought about that. I'm like, if an apocalypse occurs, something along the lines of like Fallout or a zombie apocalypse, it's like, at least I don't have to owe any debt to fucking American Express or
yeah,
or go back to work. I mean, it really boils down to just basic survival, like, you know?
yeah. No, and dude, it's kind of like it's one of those shows where it's like got this like it's giving you a message too. Like he ends up meeting one of his friends, and his friend is like a realtor, and they used to talk and stuff, but then like they started to resent each other because they both thought the other had like a better life, and so they stopped being friends.
Oh wow.
And then like he ends up basically they're both survived, and they talk about it, and they're both like, oh my god, yeah, like I want to do something else. I don't want to be a fucking realtor anymore. And so it's pretty cool. Check it out. It's also kind of wacky too. Like one of the episodes, they literally fight like a zombie shark. And he decides he's like, because he makes his bucket list of everything he wants to do, and so he's like one episode he's like, I want to be a superhero, and so they basically put a bunch of Kevlar armor on. Like they go to the aquarium to get like shark proof suit, and he's like this fucking superhero one episode. It's wacky. It's a good time.
You know,
Definitely worth it.
I just want to say, Jordan, I really appreciate the fact that you pull up like obscure anime and manga because like looking at this, you just described my life. Like I could 100% probably go watch this and be content.
Yeah, I mean, and it's on Netflix, so check it out, man. It's good. The only thing I will say that's gonna suck ass is they because of how they release this, it's gonna be a very long time before season 2 comes out. Like I'm talking 2 years.
Oh.
Um, yeah, and it's because of usually they wait a little bit longer to release stuff, so that way there isn't as big of a gap. But I mean that doesn't mean don't watch it, right? You could go read the manga afterwards if you're really interested in it, or I mean just wait. I mean we all do it. I mean everyone used to wait 4 years between Star Wars films, right? So
Well,
Yeah.
in 2 years, Micah will be 18, and he'll be able to.
yeah, he'll
Oh
he'll
yeah.
finally be 18.
Now finally be 18. Sure.
um, but yeah, so the next thing, big news, was that Berserk Chapter 374 released September 22nd. Big ass deal for Berserk fans. I'm still not there yet. I'm on like 270, so I still got some catching up to do. Um, and then the other news is essentially they mistranslated, but they were essentially like, yeah, there's going to be a final arc, and everyone was like, whoa, 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 final arc? Like, how the fuck are they going to wrap this shit up in one arc? And then people were like, oh, they meant saga. So it looks like we're going to get another 10 years or so of Berserk. which is bonkers because I mean I think like let me look it up really quick, but um Berserk has been getting made forever. Berserk start date
And this is the
is
one that you're telling everybody to. No, wait. Chainsaw Man is the one where you tell everybody to not get that, right?
yes.
Is it because it
Yes.
gets like really dark, or some of the characters just flip their characterization?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't want to ruin anything, but the amount of characters changes very fast. So, um essentially the first season of Chainsaw Man is very like uplifting and like the rise of the hero. And then the next season will be the fall of the hero. So
Oh wow.
like it's very depressing. Yeah, like people will be like, "Oh, I love this character. I want to get a tattoo of her." And I'm like, God damn, I miss her. Like, really wish she was still around, buddy. But nobody else knows. Like, nobody, like, it probably won't even be in the next season because it's so far ahead. So it's one of the,
You just
yeah.
see
So
like you just see someone with that tattoo, and you're like deep sigh, and then you turn to your right, and somehow there's a window there, and rain's coming down, and nobody knows.
yeah, or it's funny. Somebody will mention a character, and I'm like, who? And they're like, "Oh, this character from like he's literally in the whole first season. Like, how do you not remember him?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, right." And I'm like, "Okay, it's because he fucking dies like literally right after that, and I don't fucking you don't fucking see his ass for the next 90 fucking chapters." So, yeah, so it is very depressing to be a manga reader.
Like, oh, you mean Tombstone #3?
Yeah, exactly. Chainsaw Man's still fucking dope, dude. Yeah, Berserk came out first chapter came out in 1989. So,
And
and
this
the
is the
original, yeah, go ahead.
this is the Dark Souls one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So, a lot of references to Berserk and Dark Souls and Elden Ring. So, Um, but yeah, so I mean that's the news there for that. I just had some things on the radar. King and Ashura came back. That's the one that's about the proxy fighting, the company proxy fighting that we talked about in the last podcast. So because the podcast was so long, because we waited so long, the season finally it came out, and it's pretty good so far. I mean, it's a lot of the same as the other, so I definitely still recommend it. I haven't watched all of it yet. Um, Spy X Family Season 2 is back October 7th, so a lot of people are fucking hyped about that. I don't know if you guys even remember this. We probably talked about this a year ago.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, it rings a bell.
Yeah, essentially family, dad's a spy, daughter's a mind reader, the wife is an assassin. None of them know that the other is something else. Because the dad adopted the daughter, and then the wife was looking for an alibi so that people wouldn't think she was an assassin. And so essentially they don't know each other. I mean, the daughter knows that both of them their roles, but she hides it because she's like, well, I don't want to ruin this perfect family for myself. So it's a great show. It's really cute, it's funny, and it's got like a good, like, it's a little bit dark in some areas. And suicide, so I'm gonna, I essentially added this section to the end of my podcast. I'm gonna just keep a radar on some things, so I'm not gonna talk about them a bunch. But the Suicide Squad Isekai it will be out early 2024 is the plan. And then Solo Leveling, they actually fucking had some, they were supposed to come out at the end of this year, but it looks like it's going to be more like early 2024, like kind of later early, if that makes any sense. Probably like May time frame. So, and yeah, that's really it for me, guys.
I actually,
um
I have a question for you.
yes, sir.
How did you feel about the One Piece live action?
Oh man. So I watched the first episode because I have not. One Piece is something I won't touch because I have so many. I need to read all of Berserk. I need to read all of JoJo's. I'm keeping up with all these other mangas. I do not have the time to watch 1,000 episodes or even read 1,000 chapters of manga.
Yeah.
So I have watched like the first 50 to like 50, 70 episodes of One Piece. Honestly, man, it looked good. Like it the first episode kind of like I remember the first episode of the anime and pretty well because I haven't really watched a ton of it. And it seemed to really kind of catch the same vibe, the same energy. I think a lot of people, they're upset because I guess they've changed a couple things because I've read a couple articles about it. They changed a couple of the fate of how like people, but
Yeah.
honestly, you look at the Cowboy Bebop live action, which is not good. Like they ruined Faye Valentine, so
All
like
right, so
they just. Oh, go ahead.
I remember watching the video of Ed from the Cowboy Bebop live action, and I was just like, that looks really fucking cringy and dorky. You
Yeah.
know, is that what they did to Faye as well? I never even bothered to watch.
Yeah. So Faye is like not like sexy cool. She's like fucking like super just weird, dorky. Like it just doesn't fit. It didn't like I honestly I didn't watch the entire live action because they just the characters just didn't have the same vibe, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna tarnish Cowboy Bebop's name with this shit. So I don't know. Some people would call me the problem, but I'm like, I don't really fucking care. I'll consume what I want to consume.
No,
So
I mean, I think it's hard to translate anime to live action because a lot of anime it's like offbeat kind of mentality, and that's like One Piece is a perfect example of that, where you either have to try to make it something it's not by making it more realistic in live action, or you have to lean into the absolute
yeah,
and do that, you know.
well, and that's what One Piece kind of does is it leans into the goofiness. Like Luffy is a fucking goofy ass character. Like Homeboy is made of rubber. So like he's a fucking goofy ass character and he's super upbeat and stuff. And I mean I, this is kind of a spoiler, but like they finally showcased Gear 5 in the animation, which is kind of like Super Saiyan whatever, like the high Super Saiyan if you want to put it in Dragon Ball Z terms. And people were pissed as fuck because he's basically like a Looney Tunes character when he's Gear 5. He's, it's over exaggerated stuff. He like blows himself up using his thumb to make himself bigger and, making all these weird noises and stuff. But that's One Piece. That's Luffy. He's fucking goofy as shit. Like he's a man made of rubber. Like, and so, I've seen some images of the live action, like of him using his like slingshot arm and everything like that, and I'm like, it's fucking goofy. It catches on. Like it looks. So I don't know. There's always gonna be people who are upset, right? But I think honestly, out of every anime live action, it does a pretty good job.
Okay.
So,
Hmm.
but I'm also not a One Piece fan, so I don't know how much my fucking, my opinion carries weight in stone, right?
Well, I'd say it
So,
does. I mean, you got quite a good knowledge of anime and manga. You know.
yeah. So it can only get better. I think my next project is I actually do want to continue reading on Jujutsu Kaisen, and then Kaiju number 8 is supposed to be getting an anime adaptation in a while. So I'll probably talk about that with you guys next, because it's another mech anime, and I fucking love mech animes. So
Honestly, I might go check out that Zom 100. Like that sounds like a great way to wind down a Friday night. A depressing show about work that the guy just fucking hates it, fights zombies. That sounds like
yeah, well,
Shaun of
because
the Dead. Like,
it's like, but it's so uplifting, dude. Like the main character, because he's just like so happy. It's just funny to see him because he's like so happy in the zombie apocalypse, and it's even funnier because all the other characters are acting like your typical zombie apocalypse characters. They're scared as shit, and he's just like, "What are y'all so afraid about? Like this is dank. Like I don't have to work anymore. So like, what's wrong with you people?"
this guy and I would be best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
Jordan, thanks for coming back. You know, it was I'm glad that we were able to get this back off the ground because honestly, I like doing the Stone Gauntlet. Nerding out with you guys is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm glad we did come back to this, even though I was fashionably late. But
Yeah, but chicken wings
Yeah.
are involved, so
yeah,
understandable.
exactly.
Yeah, it was funny. It was like we are doing this podcast
You wanna know
after
something
so long.
funny?
It was like,
I'm
but
sorry.
yeah, what'd you say?
I was just saying sorry. I was about to say like tell you a story about the whole chicken wings thing.
Ah, well, I need to actually probably get
Oh
to
yeah.
bed
Yeah.
because
Jordan,
I, yeah,
yeah, thank you for staying up this late with us. We can go ahead and close it here if you want.
yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Glad we gotta do this again.
We are we doing something special for Halloween?
Feel like we should.
Let's
Because
Um,
discuss that
I mean,
off stream.
okay, yeah.
I will find some Junji Ito stuff. I will save that for the viewers. So I'll find some manga panels. But yeah, we can talk about it off stream too. So
Okay. Um, guys, so expect something special for October. We're probably gonna do something horror related. I'm not sure what Gunjito is, but Jordan will bring it to you, and he'll bring it to you in the best way possible. You'll learn something. Uh,
Okay.
until later on this month, though, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us all for the Stone Gauntlet tonight.
yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, guys. Have a good night, and
You
this
too.
rabble out.
Yeah.
Keep it weird, y'all.
And I'll
Peace,
web
guys.
y'all later. That was fun. I'm glad we did that.
I'm still looking for for our out music. I feel bad because we kept Jordan out for quite a while, and I think a good portion of that was my